with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I've lied to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Some days you go through the rain. Some days you feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I've lied to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Try to run me through, hold on, think again. Don't you know what you stopped in? But you sure ain't got a clue how bad this will go. Don't you know my art? And as you look to the horizon, not a cloud, but the stormy weather's caught you cold. Seems like it crept out of nowhere all around you. It's not quite what you foretold. You'll never see it coming. You'll see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're dying by the time that it hits you. Your last surprise. Think you got your game planned out to a T, but I'm 2 steps ahead, yeah. So step into my way, stand down. It's a trap, one more step, and you're dead. Yeah, you're dead. Why just a picosecond ago, clear blue skies, but now lightning struck your last resolve. It's not an accident that no one hears your cries. It's your last straight to
Unless they play art like Persona 5.
You'll never see it coming. You'll see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're dying by the time that it hits you. Your last surprise. I'm coming for you. My game's on.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Well, it's about time. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
Yeah, I looked at him and I ate him, his little face.
Talk about extreme.
Well, let's talk about extreme. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression.
Put it in reverse.
Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in the century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess.
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics. Everything that she believed 3 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
Yeah, I looked at him and I ate him, his little face.
Talk about extreme. Donald Trump has no plan for you.
Excuse me, I have to respond. She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan. And it's like 4 sentences. Like run, spot, run.
Like run, spot, run.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
Wait a minute, I'm talking now. Another lie. It's another lie. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
Yeah, I looked at him and I ate him, his little face.
Talk about extreme. Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. Clearly, he has had a very difficult time processing that. And I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's busing them in and paying them to be there.
And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't leave my rallies. They're the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back.
Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
Yeah, I looked at him and I ate him, his little face.
Talk about extreme.
You don't want Mark Month. Your points were giving willingly. We were there for cupcakes. Obey or be timed.
People don't understand peak, and it's really sad to hear. It's just a sad, sad state of affairs. Alright, boop, boop, boop. Yo, yo, yo. Ba, ba, ba. There's no Mark Month!
The further we get from half Mark Month, the more...
Triton A. Morris
This is
says,
crazy.
Peak is y'all playing Arc from Persona 5.
Yeah, okay. Who is ready for the pedo and male fantasy arguments for anime? Also be prepared for a whole lot of unique and different with this one. Oh, thank you, Dutch, for re-upping to the bums. Oh, 21 months, that's crazy. Demon Time. I don't think I'm mentally ready for this. Will episode 19 make an appearance? Or Dragon Ball Iconic? Or make Gohan great again? Thank you, Silverheart Soul, for becoming for re-upping to the bums. So, hey, bum, just finished work. What'd you think of the dessert cake? Ridiculous.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, he put it in photos. Ridiculous. I can see why you were overtime on that. I don't know if it's
Oh my goodness.
if me that feels sad or I'm just not in the mood. Also, hey, you guys.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
sometimes people just are not in the mood to be doing things, and it's okay. Like, it is what it is. Sometimes, yeah, it's ridiculous.
I always just focus in on the people in the background. And then there's just this lady.
The peak
Notera
music.
says, total June victory.
Oh yeah. That was ridiculous. Phil Day is tomorrow, by the way. I can't wait to hear your guys' reaction to the takes on women in anime. Is really bad.
We will get to that.
Maybe
It's a long one.
It's a long one. That's why we're not doing a downloaded version, even though I did download it in case he deletes it again, so we can speed it up. Thank you, board, for re-upping to the bums. This song
We
slaps.
should refresh that soon.
Some of the alerts.
Yeah, I don't know what though.
I watched through the full video. It's a Hall of Fame. Thank you for the super chat, Nami the GOAT. My Hero Academia episode killed the gentle scene. I hope that's killed as
I was about to
a
say.
good way and not a
That
oh
could
no.
be one of two ways that's taken.
Damn G, I thought you guys had a list to go over first. Things happen. What do you want from us?
We're not going in order. This is whatever we're feeling.
We go from peak to this. Why? Yo, chat. Why make a song of this? Trump really said that pets are being eaten.
The dog.
Dude, he's a monster. If I hear fan service as one of his arguments against women in anime, I will lose it.
That's of
I
course
get
gonna
so
be
annoyed when I hear that point.
Yeah, it's obvious. Obvious.
What the am I listening to? What is this song? Get ready to be disappointed. Sitting on screen. Kind of heat. Jay, I had no idea what we're listening to.
It's a good song,
It's
you
a
animals.
good song. I hope you have alcohol with you. You will need
Nami
it.
the GOAT says, the gentle episode was so good the anime only said they love him now.
Oh my goodness. You don't deserve them then.
Unbelievable. I got a shift change in my job, but good news, I still have Saturdays off. Hey, good for you. Or bad for you,
Yeah, I was
however.
about to say dependent.
Hello?
Asterisk.
Mark month time. Alright, we're about caught up. What's up, Gabo, Jay, Hope, Love One Piece Forever, Hi, Dutch, Priscilla, Jay is gay, Triton, Leo, Artemation.
Absolutely can say people don't deserve a thing. If you're only getting hype for General when he's hype, you don't deserve him.
Turt,
You don't
Valstrax.
deserve. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't handle me at my best. And
Dutch,
there was never a
Unknown
worst.
Gaming.
But now that it's a perceived
Nami the
good,
GOAT.
of course they're going to be sucky, and you don't deserve them.
Victory Greymon. MF Chris, Gamer. Yep, I think we're all caught up. All right. So yeah, this video. I think B-List is doing this video as well today. So definitely go check them out if they are doing it, or maybe they're doing something else. I don't know. This video was presented to us and it looked bad, so we were gonna do it, and then they deleted the video. And after they deleted the video, it was just kind of like, okay, we don't know what we're gonna do.
Mother. All right,
it
well,
sucked. But apparently they just needed to re-upload it because they didn't like the intro. So they re-uploaded it. They changed the intro. I don't know what the original intro was, but it is what it is.
Lost the time.
This is my love-hate relationship with anime. I think the original title was The Problem with Anime.
Or I hate anime. Or
Something like that. Description boys. Anime. I hate it. And I love it. Freyrin. I don't know. I've never known how to say that. Freyrin? Full Metal Alchemist. Death Note. These are all great, but so many anime are hot garbage, and here's why. Animation, settings, world building, the prevalence of Isekai and how it treats women. All of these things are a turn off from the media.
Just don't watch Isekai stuff if you don't like Isekai. I don't like Isekai.
Nami the
I'm
GOAT
not
says,
complaining about
200 people
Isekai.
said Lady Nagant sniping Shigi was more epic than Gentle stopping us from falling.
Unbelievable.
Of course they did.
Cause cool.
Yep. But yeah, it's just very simple. It's a prevalence, sure, but you know, there's a lot of stuff out there for every isekai anime. I'm sure there's one other anime that's not isekai, at least.
Yeah, for sure. And who cares if there's this to me is like people complaining about vampire media after Twilight blew up. All of a sudden there were a bunch of vampire TV shows, vampire books, vampire movies and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, same thing with Walking Dead with zombies. Yes, the genre is really popular right now, but what in the media is good within that genre? I'm sure there's going to be good isekais out
And
there.
bad ones. You just
And bad ones.
complete broad brush of just isekai.
I'll smash that
future! Hey, Deku, shut up, you nerd!
Thank you for the super chat, Silver Heart Soul. What's up? Just buried my great grandma. Oh, wow.
Notera says,
Great grandma.
watches shitty Goislop Isekai harem power fantasy and complains when it's a shitty harem Isekai Goislop power fantasy.
Yeah. But take this $10, little out of it, and tell your loved ones you love them. She was born in 1923.
Oh, that's proper
and died
Great
in
Depression
2024.
stuff.
She was 103 months from 101. That's incredible.
Yeah, we always say when older people pass, they made it to the finish line. It's like, you can be sad, but they had a long life.
Yeah, I hope it was a happy life too, because if she was that age, she probably saw some real dirt in her time. And I really hope she wasn't a victim of some of that dirt.
I don't like mecha, but that doesn't mean that all mecha is bad. For example, Gurren Lagann, yeah. Watches Goislop Isekai harem.
The thing TTS said that.
Oh. Hey, that was in between the I remember
The grandma.
but yeah, the just don't watch. There's good, bad Isekai. Just chill out with that.
All right, let's get into it then.
And they're
Oh,
trying.
this is by the Hayze. I don't think we said the actual name.
And they're trying to make it look hot.
God, I'm fucked. I've watched a lot of anime in my time, and a lot of it was great. Google anime, and you'll find a huge number of well-drawn, high-quality shows. Tons
I don't care about well drama.
of anime are incredible. Death Note, Fullmetal Alchemist, and Spy X Family were all amazing. The best anime of all time.
I wonder how they feel about manga. Is this specifically manga or anime or the whole genre? Could you get rid of that default, bro? That's bothering me.
Are also some of the best shows of all time, able to capture a profound sense of wonder and reverence that it's hard to find anywhere.
GamerF5 says, what's up to all my Rock City bums? How are all of y'all feeling today?
There is no Rock City.
Well, there is Rock City.
The video is very saturated. I don't know what you want me to do about that. Yeah, it's how it looks.
But most anime are pretty bad. In this video, I'm going to be going over the long list of reasons why I tend to stay away from anime.
The video is too bright. Wow, everybody. I don't know if that's us then. Oh yeah, no. That's not how it looks for us.
Yeah.
That's not even how.
No, that's the video where it's very bright with the. Go back to this.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bright for us while we were watching it.
Yeah. What's going on? Everything is falling apart.
Yeah, no, that's super weird.
Old school Turkey Tom rant Sona. Yeah, it's kind of reminds me a little bit of Captain Mac.
Okay, no, the brightness isn't down, up, the contrast isn't up. That's super weird. Alright, let's try to turn the brightness down and the contrast down and see if that does anything. I'm gonna go back a little bit.
In this video, I'm going to be going over the best anime of all time
yeah.
are also some of the best shows of all time, able to capture a profound sense of...
Yep, just let it go. See if that's any different.
Nope.
Yeah, I think it's just captured weird.
That's crazy. Play the downloaded version.
And that's what I was about to do. Which kinda stinks, honestly.
It's crazy that there's no way to speed things up in
XSplit. Dude, XSplit is super f***ing up. It's pissing me off. I'm truly about to just kill this noise.
Yep. Perpetual technical difficulties.
And they're trying to make it look hot.
God, I'm fucked. I've watched a lot of anime in my time, and a lot of it was great. Google anime, and you'll find a huge number of well-drawn, high-quality shows. Tons of anime are incredible. Death Note, Fullmetal Alchemist, and Spy X Family were all amazing. The best anime of all time are also some of the best shows of all time, able to capture a profound sense of wonder and reverence that it's hard to find anywhere else.
But it's pretty bright.
But most anime are pretty bad.
Yeah,
in this video, I'm going to be going
here.
over the long list of reasons why I tend to stay away from anime, despite the medium containing many of my favorite shows of all time. This isn't a hate video on the medium as a whole or the people who watch it. I don't think it's productive or true to say that anime as a whole is always bad. It isn't. But there are a lot of issues I have that make me reluctant to start.
Sorry, I gotta
These
do a
are the
lot of stuff here.
But I also don't think that it's fair to say that the majority of anime are bad. Or that simple tropes within that anime make it bad. Or just the repetition of the tropes make things... you should be averse to anime and
Real
manga
Luster
because of the
says,
repetition of
his
tropes.
original intro was him saying he hopes he doesn't get a lot of flack from the video.
Ah, one of them. Biggest of ups.
It isn't. But there are a lot of issues I have that make me reluctant to start them. These are the many, many reasons why I don't watch much anime. Let's get started.
So, and with a list like this, it's always very weird because no matter what you say, there's going to be an infinite amount of anime and manga that does not have that thing that you're complaining about.
Yep.
So it's just a simple matter of, I don't like horror movies. There's so many horror movies. I guess I'm swearing off movies. Like, no.
Stop watching horror
movies.
I want to start out by saying that the problems I bring up in this video are by no means universal. There are many anime that don't relieve any of these issues. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Frieren, and the first season of Death Note in particular are shows that suffer from basically none of...
says, Isekai are bad, but they are also good. The greatest estate developer and villains are destined to die are the first good ones that come to mind.
Yeah, I don't really just care for Isekai. If you complain about fan service, there is fan service in Death Note. Women fan service.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there might be some in Fullmetal Alchemist, but
if you complain about that, we don't f***ed up.
I'm not a fan of horror, but Haunting of Hill House is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. To play devil's advocate, it's hard to find good anime that's for me. Just like it was, it seems TV just peaked in 2019. Yeah, it's hard to find good things of any medium if you're going to consume a lot. Unless you're just going to go to what you believe you're going to like anyway. You gotta expand your horizons. You gotta try some new stuff. French Frieren.
I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not gonna get on them for pronouncing it in one way or another.
Oh, there's most certainly.
Of course there. But we don't know what the argument is about women in anime and manga. But we have to keep in mind at least Death Note. That is one that I'm very familiar with. So if they complain about something that's not and it's in Death Note, we got a problem here. Because that means that you're overlooking it because of the good stuff, and you're choosing not to do that in other things.
Planes I'll be talking about, and are all incredible and iconic.
I've always said Frieren, like friend.
None of the complaints I'll be talking about, and are all incredible and iconic. The things I'll bring up are problems.
Yeah, they are. What's the problem?
He said Fullmetal Alchemist what in Death Note? I forgot what the second one was.
Fleeing.
That is not iconic! It just came out last year!
I didn't even know what it was about until Mike explained it. A and V was just like, it's about this. I was like, oh, okay. I legit did not know what it was about.
Bring up are problems that a ton of anime have, but definitely aren't true for every single one. There are a lot of anime out there, and a lot of exceptions to my complaints. These are just general trends in anime that make me worried to try so many of them out. I'll be tackling some...
That's purely aesthetic. Trends in plot and world I don't like. 0.5, this is bad. Dude, I was not a fan of Slice of Life, and that's my favorite, like... version of the medium, I should say. It's good. Like
the lighter stuff first, and then getting into the larger issues later in the video. Also, while the anime industry as a whole has terrible working conditions, I won't be touching on that much since it's not really relevant to the criticisms.
Morris says, there are a lot of exceptions, so the video is worthless now.
I have, and
I don't understand what the point is. It's you're complaining about stories, and don't complain about in as a whole. There are isekais, and I don't like isekais. Like,
yeah, there's a isekai I'm okay with. That doesn't mean I like isekai. It doesn't mean I hate isekai. It's just one I am.
Nothing, turd.
I don't know enough to feel qualified talking about it. Anyway, let's get into it.
Ding.
I want to start with the thing that I think anime is best at. The majority of anime are very pretty.
Boy, this is worthless to me.
Absolutely.
Couldn't care less.
All the characters are drawn in an appealing, stylized manner, complete with these beautiful painted backgrounds. This is the anime art style, or at the very least, it has been since the 2010s. It looks good and can work well in basically every story. And
what is the anime art style? Could you go back to...
Is he praising the genericness of it?
Could you go back to what they said about the, there's pretty backgrounds and stuff like that?
All the characters are drawn in an appealing, stylized manner, complete with these beautiful painted backgrounds.
An appealing, stylized manner. What is that manner? Wouldn't it be trying to emulate the manga as best as possible? Mm-hmm. What are you talking about?
I don't know if this is a original anime video.
HOPE says, really? Tell that to everyone complaining about One Piece.
Yeah,
this
One
is the anime art style, or at the very least, it has been since the 2010s. It looks good and can work well in basically every story. And a lot of anime fans can get pretty stuck up about this. There's this common meme that Japan likes to make its characters look cute and attractive, and America likes to make its characters ugly and gross. And while this is reductive and cherry picks a few ugly shows, it's true that anime does tend to look nicer than North American stuff.
No, it looks more like standardized, because The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Rick and Morty do not look the same. But you could probably pick 80 anime that look similar enough.
Listen, I'm trying, okay?
Turn that cooldown down.
What is it, 90 seconds?
No, because Hope just did it.
Yeah, Hope did it.
And then Hope did it again.
No, Hope did it.
Check it, because that seemed like it wasn't. No, it says it's on cooldown. Maybe time is, the perception of time is outrageous for me.
It's a 45-second cooldown.
This is an hour and a half video.
Shouldn't it be longer then? Because they're going to keep interrupting us?
No, I'm saying, yeah, make it longer. Because what's it normally?
90 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanted it up, not down. That's what I was. Okay,
no,
that's where we
get it out of here. Shut up, all y'all. Ben 10, Avatar, Teen Titans look like anime style, even though they're American cartoon. Yeah, I don't care about these people. What is your point when talking about what people are talking about in terms of the Japanese style versus the American style?
Mm-hmm.
Because if your point is that you're annoyed with people, that's not a problem with the anime industry as a whole, but this is not really a thing that they didn't make that point, so I'm just complaining about.
But here's where we get to my first issue. It feels odd to bring up animation quality while saying they won't bring up workplace issue, like it isn't well known how bad it is.
Yeah, because not too much that you can say other than pretty, and people are talking about it's pretty, and I guess it's generic, and there's a standardized style that was set in the 2010, and this is how you would do that. You would show anime before 2010 and then show after and be like, okay, here's how they differ, and not just one or two. You would have to show a bunch of them and be like, look at how jagged and rough that this Naruto looks, and look how pretty this Demon Slayer look, and how the rounded edge, something that speaks to what's going on. But this is what I would do, because they introduced the concept of a 2010 style that everything has now, and they've not really explained it, but they could.
Nicer than North American stuff. But here's where we get to my first issue. Does animation have to be pretty? One reason people like anime...
No, it doesn't.
What is the problem with the animation industry as a whole? You're talking about people. You're talking about people going... Would Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it better or worse because the animation is just okay? It doesn't matter.
And are we talking animation or are we talking art style? Like the colors, the palettes, those type of thing. Because he talked about is drawn in his particular style with these painted backgrounds, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Wasn't. It was one of those churned out, hey, characters standing still. That has to do with the animation. But again, is he talking that, or is he talking about the way that everything is drawn while you're looking at this piece of media?
Maybe showing some of the images from, go back up to that, from various anime to help your point instead of playing a random animated background. Yeah, that would definitely have helped.
Is because it can accomplish things that simply aren't possible in live action. For example, you can give your characters hairstyles and features that would look ridiculous in real life. But
Yu-Gi-Oh's hair looks ridiculous in Yu-Gi-Oh!
True.
Animated world of their stories, it ends up being interesting. Ridiculous in real life. But in the animated world of their stories, it ends up being an interesting and recognizable part of their design. Animation as a medium is great because...
But that's every animation, every form of animation. I don't know what he's talking about at this point.
If you're a good enough artist, you can create a fitting and interesting trait for just about any character and have it work. And I think this is often a problem with the modern anime art style. It's so unbelievably common and homogenous that it's kind of impossible to overstate.
Pause. So go back to that. Because I saw Inuyasha there. Oh, you went way back.
I have to, because it doesn't go past...
Oh, this stinks.
Yeah.
So we got Light. I see Light. Goku. Come on now.
Luffy.
You can't say that they're 80% the same style and just say that and not prove or explain anything.
I see Yu Yu Hakusho.
Elfen lied? DA's favorite anime for obvious reasons.
Blue Exorcist.
Yu Yu Hakusho?
Cowboy Bebop.
These are all different anime
Digimon.
studios. They're all different. They've got Sasuga in different places. Some of them have that dumb they're standing around and lip flapping.
Yeah.
This, you're not saying anything with this.
Notera says, LMAO shitting PN people for cherry picking while also cherry picking all these guys look different. If you just mean Isekai protags, then watch better shit IDK.
Different designs, but 80% the same style. What do you mean?
Yeah, I truly don't know what he means at this point.
This just seems like they just got a random anime picture with a bunch of protagonists and just slapped it on and just went, there's my point. Look at it. It's like, what am I looking at here? When you're showing Digimon
next to Attack on Titan.
Common and homogenous that it's kind of impossible to overstate. There's some variation, sure, but for the most part, manga and anime artists draw in pretty much this.
These mostly from... Don't just grab things from the online. If you want to do this, make your own so you can avoid that these are mostly from different shows, because then you have repeated ones, and then if I don't know that there's Conan and there's Detective Conan's best friend, I'm like, oh, they look the same, not knowing that they're from the same show.
Mm-hmm. That's not Conan, by the way. That's a kid. Kid.
But like they're from the same show. What do you mean?
You got this guy and this guy. If you want to talk these two, sure. But that's because their designs aren't that much different to begin with. You literally cannot tell me this guy is this guy. Mm-hmm. You literally cannot tell me these things.
What would you do to differentiate the main character from Black Butler and Lucy? How are they the same, and how would you make them different? You need to explain things like that, not just show something, not even explain it, and then move the on. Boy, I sure love these retros. Bleach art style is not like the One Piece art style. It's the guy lives in 2017.
J_gay, aka Big Sleeper, says, "This motherfucker is so stupid, I want to slap him."
It's crazy. It seems like they're just making themselves not like anime by going, look at all this. It's the same. They all look like they're from the same show. What do you mean? They're humans with human facial structures? Of course, you can. I'm assuming they're going to be like, if you look at The Simpsons and you look at The Amazing World of Gumball, they don't look the same. But those are like different art style.
Yeah.
You are drawing humans. I don't see what the issue is for having human featured characters. But then if you want to go over to the homogenization of American animation, you got all those, there's multiple videos that are just like, look at this Family Guy ripoff, look at this Rick and Morty style thing, where they look like that's from that. So you can also say it's over here.
I mean, you could really kind of point to some similarities between like Teen Titans and Avatar. It truly means nothing. If you're trying to draw realistic proportions of characters, then they're gonna come out very samey. Thank you for the super chat, Dutch. Why is he showing Ren and Yukio? They are twins.
You can barely see those faces. They're so small. What is this, a picture for ants? Lucy and Natsu are from the same show. Yeah, they say that mostly from different shows. They clearly just, I don't know what, this just seems like, is this just a main character?
I don't know.
Don't make your own.
Yeah.
None of these characters look the same at all. Me looking at KG and somebody versus Ichigo and Luffy, they all look the same. Yeah, this is just a horrible, horrible point.
Same style, and I think this can be detrimental. For an example of a show I think does something interesting with its animation, let's look at Total Drama. Total Drama is a Canadian...
But then you can also look at In Penny and Stocking, which has very similar beats to...
cartoon from the 2000s that recently got rebooted back in 2023. It's a parody of reality TV shows, particularly Survivor, where a bunch of 16-year-olds get stuck...
Dude needs to get his eyes checked.
...in a competition for $1 million, gradually being voted out until only one...
Do we need to know the backstory of what Total Drama Island is
because
about?
Does the art style play into the story you're telling?
Remains the winner. All of the characters are exaggerated parodies of different types of real-life people. You've got the surfer, the delinquent, the quiet genius, the goth, the one who's just a bit of...
Okay, what's that mean?
But nut, you get the idea. And so, it only makes sense that when you're making character designs for them, they should be exaggerated, almost more like caricatures than real people. And that's what they do. Harold is weak and geeky, so they give him these nonsensical green glasses and make him so...
But yes, there are character designs that you can look at and go, okay, I understand what this character is. There, L and Light next to each other when they're giving their commencement speech. Light is in a suit, and then L is in his normal sweatshirt and sweatpants. You just go, okay, I understand these characters by looking at them.
So exactly what most anime do. Anime does the exact same thing.
But they're gonna show a normal like anime high school and just go a full shot of just like 8 characters. Just go look at them. Tell me anything about these characters as they're in a high school uniform.
He's basically talking about Dong and Rampo, where it's just like, oh look, they gave her notes as her pen in their hair, like because she's a music prodigy. Like okay, whatever.
Incredibly thin that you wonder how he hasn't already snapped in half. Same with Duncan. He couldn't swag.
But then, go back to the full shot of this dude. Because he, when they put him on their own screen the first time, I was just like, I got a problem with this. Not that one, the other one. Just play it. Oh, you could have just played it.
Oh, you're talking about
it should be exaggerated.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh, the goth dude.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
Look at that massive forehead. What is this? He's got a square head, but it's protruding outward. I would look at that and just go, what is the purpose of this design? It just seems more to just stand out than anything.
Weak, therefore green glasses. I take offense to that as someone with green glasses and can easily lift my 150-pound grandma.
You weakling. I also wear glasses.
Swagger anywhere near as well without his ridiculously huge torso and short little legs, and his oddly shaped head really gives the look of someone tough with a comically thick brow ridge and flat top.
What do you mean?
He has to understand that people criticize One Piece specifically for drawing things like this, for the exaggerated proportions and the exaggerated types of faces where people have these box heads with like 5-pointed chin.
I don't think Lego Head Man is just going, oh, he looks tough because he's got a big head. What is he doing? Forehead chin-ups? I don't understand how you build your forehead.
He's absurdly tall and wide, but he also has these dots for eyes to signify he's a sweet, simple guy. Brick and Eva are tough as nails, so they have the thickest unibrows you've ever seen. You get the idea.
Do unibrows signify toughness?
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't even begin.
Because that was a joke in It's Always Sunny.
Isn't well animated by any means. It's a low-budget Flash animated Canadian cartoon from 2007, but they did a great job with what they had. The characters aren't particularly well animated even when they're standing still, and what little action there is mostly just them moving between a few still poses. But even so, the character designs are all expressive, and you can instantly know.
So it does seem like this section is about the character design and not animation.
Okay. You're talking about... You showed a bunch of people that went to school, or you showed a bunch of faces without showing their full bodies to see their designs.
The guy behind the main, that guy right behind, what does he say?
He looks kind
of bored.
Laziness. He's an artist.
Know what they're about from just looking at them, or even their silhouette.
What is Owen about? He's just some dude in a Canadian shirt. I guess he's fat and nice. At a glance, you know what he's about.
Fat and nice.
If this show were drawn in a more realistic style, sure, it would be prettier, but it would also be losing part of its identity.
No, you still see who
why is he
these
still
people are.
talking about Totally Drama Island?
And yes, it would lose part of his identity, but you can still know what these characters are about at a glance.
Because you can see that the dude on the right is bigger than the dude on the left. Physically. So you just go, okay, he has glasses, so nerd. You've taken away essentially nothing by doing, especially to the nerd, to the you lose the dot eyes on the black dude, but to the nerd, you still got the glasses, you still got the small frame,
you still got the big old tongue of the shoes going over the baggy pants. He has no drip.
Now wait a second. I like the blue and the pink and the green. I don't know. Maybe chill out on that.
A burger shirt with he's got no drip.
Of course, the characters ain't gonna look well animated with standing still. They're standing still. Yeah, they seem to not understand or conflating animation and character design. Because they did just go, look at all these characters, they're the same style.
No disrespect to the artists, but Harold and DJ are just normal dudes now. You don't get anything from this. You still get the same thing because of the design they had initially. DJ, I would assume, is a pretty laid-back black guy. Laid-back, strong black guy. Maybe he likes to go to the beach since he's in flip-flop shorts. I've never seen Total Drama nothing, but this is what I assume. He's a nice, chill, laid-back black dude. Harold is a nerd. This is what I gather from this.
Weirdly, it would end up being less expressive since the characters would start to look more similar to each other and less like the caricatures they're supposed to be. Owen is perpetually cheery, so the original creators gave him a hilariously tiny little smiling face.
Hayze Aldonic says, I prefer DJ made by this artist. He looks like a man who is strong but doesn't think he works in the gym.
Yeah, it's a good. I like the interpretations in a different art style and things like that.
He still has a tiny smiling face.
Yeah, they kept that because they understand what to do with the. They understand the points of the character that are recognizable. So you can see that the top half of the head is the face, and then the bottom half is chin. It's not as ridiculous as the Total Drama Island style, but it's still you still get that here.
If it looked like this instead, it wouldn't hit the same way. It's too realistic for a show about caricatures. And Noah wouldn't be the same if he weren't so ridiculously short with his enormous head on his tiny, thin little body. And Justin wouldn't look anywhere near as creepily out of place if he weren't the only character in the entire series with irises in his eyes. The more realistic designs might be better if the show were more mature, but many anime aren't.
Why is he out of place? What makes him out of place? Is that a joke?
He's a super pretty man. Part of the caricature? I would assume.
That much more mature than Total Drama. Total Drama's characters are a huge reason why it stood the test of time and why people still care about it today, and the character design is a big part of that. I haven't watched a single season of the show in
is it the character designs? Is it the art style? Or is it because it's a fun series? Would the series be less fun with more realistic drawn art style?
People who dig Total Drama in the chat, just let us know why you think fondly on it. I haven't seen people talk about the show in a while. Oh no!
Gaming in Virench says, Whites need to be mature to have a normal designs.
Justin wasn't out of place in the series, just did a close-up on him very often. Nostalgia mostly, it's a good show. Realistic design doesn't automatically equal mature. DJ is strong, but his personality is the opposite of his physique. Yeah. I watched all of the seasons. I like it because it was funny.
Yeah, it's just...
At least 3 years, but I can still name every single one of the 85 original characters and tell you what their deal is instantly, because all of them stand out from each other so much.
Because you've seen the series. So if you see a character, you go, oh yeah, it's that dude, because I recognize his design. He does that thing.
I can recognize and tell you about the 21 people in class 1A as loose and nothing as they are. I can still tell you that Tape Guy is not an uptight character.
Couldn't even tell me his name.
Zero. But he doesn't deserve it. So just going, I can tell you about this, it means nothing, because I'm not going to be like, Doflamingo, what was he about? The sword guy, Mihawk, what's his deal? You like the show, you have a fond memory of it, so when you think Harold, you're like, oh yeah, the big fat happy guy. I think that was Harold.
Yeah. Oh no, Harold was the nerd. Owen is the big fat.
There are not 85 characters that I miss here.
In his defense, y'all do go, who is this character from the show you watch so often? You just did it with Tape Guy. No,
I didn't do it.
But if you were to show us all of Class 1A, I would be able to tell you what they are, who they are, what they do. I can tell you those things. I can tell you the rough personality trait of them.
I can tell you about all the Iran car,
but
and I hate it.
If you tell me to name all 21
that's
right now,
the problem comes.
Could not even begin to.
It's not a flex to be like, I remember characters from a show that I like.
Yeah, it's truly not. Because my God, I see them and I go, oh yeah, that person.
We understand it.
There are 12 characters, Trayton. What are you talking about?
There truly are.
There's only 12.
In his defense, y'all don't even know the 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps are not a character.
And there are a lot of North American animated shows that change up their animation style quite a bit to better fit the stories they're trying to tell. Adventure Time is simple and surrealist, so every character has these soft shapes and dots for eyes. The Disney Tangled show completely changed the art style from the movie and now looks like a storybook.
Yeah, because it's 3D to 2D.
Genuinely love it. The Amazing World of Gumball is a weird screwball comedy, so it has really odd character design.
Why aren't you going with the more regular types of shows? Like Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom doesn't have super ridiculous proportions. There are some big dudes, but it's not like Total Drama Island where there's these just completely off the wall design. It's not like Gumball where there's just these completely off, because you can go Crayon Shin-chan. Yeah. You can go that anime I made for that AMV, The Doc is Sin. You can do these things
Panty and stocking.
Panty and stock. You can do these things if you go for these shows.
And mixes 2D and 3D animation all the time. And I know people joke about CalArts style,
but that is exactly what things like JoJo does.
And Attack on Titan.
But realistically, that's what, like 3 shows? And to be clear, this isn't just true because they're comedy shows. For one, most of them can still pull off some pretty hard-hitting dramatic moments with its characters, but for 2, there's still plenty of dramas that have expressive characters as well. Daria, Batman Beyond, Samurai Jack.
You're saying this like anime doesn't.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy when you haven't established that other than showing a 240p picture from 8 miles away. Just go and look at it.
Oh, hell no!
There are a bunch of them.
Music
Anime,
maybe has a point. Oh, never mind.
Doesn't deviate anywhere near as much. If you take all the different anime,
they're basically all the same. The same picture.
You cannot sit there and tell me that this character is the same as this character. You simply cannot.
The dude from Magi has bigger and wider and more expressive eyes than ReZero dude.
Or even this guy.
Or the dude from the anime, go one to the right and one down, right there. He's from an anime where it's just like, hey, there's these high school girls and they're monster girls, and it's funny.
Dude, come on. Come on, dude.
Look how gruff 2 down. Look how gruff he looks in compared to the person right below them. This is crazy bars.
Gaming in Virench says, Natsu is same as Kosei Arima and Lucy will get cancer in the end and dies.
anywhere near as much. If you take all the different anime over the course of several decades, they'll look different, but that's only because the style has shifted over the past 70 years.
So, art styles have changed, so designs of anime have changed. Like animation does.
But you showcased 80% look the same, and you were showcasing things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball, next to things like Devil's a part-timer. So why did you say earlier that 80% of these things look the same, and then just going, yeah, the earlier stuff is now different from this stuff? That's not what you showed before. So what's the problem? His arm must be sore while this broad strokes. Yeah, this point is absolutely, and this point was, does anime need to be pretty?
But if you look at just the past decade or so, basically every anime looks very, very similar.
You can't tell me this looks like this. I refuse to believe you believe. I refuse to believe you believe these three things look the same. I refuse to believe you think these four things look the same. I refuse to believe you believe that.
You look at a lot of the shows since the 2010s and...
You want to talk about irises? Oshino Koi, she's got the star irises. Much like it's different from the dude that you showed that has those irises. Those things can differentiate a character, so you can't be like, hey, yo, look at this.
Says, hey y'all, all donations to this stream will go towards a fundraiser to get this dude glasses.
Yeah, that's our money. You could just be wrong and blind over there.
In the exact same way, regardless of genre or tone. This one's about cooking, this is a fantasy in another world, this is about warriors in ancient Japan, and this one's a romance, and yet they're all using the same line work, general proportions, animation method, and they're all about equally saturated.
They're using the general proportions because they're drawing realistic characters. They're not drawing exaggerated. They're not drawing caricatures.
You showed Total Drama Island as an example of caricatures. So you just go, look at these, and their design showcases that, so you can instantly look at them and go, okay, I understand this. These are characters coming in to learn about them. It's not a problem either way that you do that. But if you look at Witch Girl, you can just go in Konosuba, you go, okay, I can understand that she's a witch. Gintama, Gintoki, his kimono is very flamboyant. So you look at him and go, okay, he goes against the norm.
I was waiting for the TTS, otherwise I'm just gonna say it. Nope. Konosuba has very different line work to it compared to Food Wars. Yeah, I think Konosuba has very heavy line work.
They all share the same art style. Moving on. This could be said about Rubber Hose cartoons, that the whole Cuphead, no different from Looney Tunes. Yeah, the squash and stretch, the over-exaggerate. Are those the same art styles? And is it a problem that Cuphead is emulating the style of the 1930s, whenever the Looney Tunes came out?
Or even, what's that? Bendy and the Ink Machine. He needs to explain what he means by these all look the same.
Legit.
They're all realistic proportions, so they look realistic. More realistic.
Every single one of these characters looks like they could exist in the universe of the others.
Oh, no. I do not believe that.
I don't like how you showed 3 big group shots that are essentially advertisements, and then just Gintoki standing there. We don't get a good shot of these characters. You're not comparing the eye shapes, the face shapes, how much gradients they have in their hair, the shading, the line work, nothing. You're just going,
even the color palettes
all look the same.
Because the ones at the bottom right are generally way lighter than the Konosuba characters.
Yeah, they're more muted and saturated than the Konosuba. Look at the brown of Fruit Basket Girl's hair in comparison to the light brown right there next to American Girl. Yeah, right there. Those are 2 different shades. It's not really a good example.
And what that means is that
Konosuba main character. They both have brown hair next to Fruit Basket's main girl. Look how much it looked like the brightness and saturation was turned up on his and turned down on hers. So I wouldn't be like, "Ayo, these are the same."
Yeah, even the hair itself with the shading, you can see it has much harsher lines with the bangs and that type of thing. Whereas these are very like
one-toned in the front, but then in the
Darkslayer
back
Don
they
213
get shaded.
says he can look at those old 4Kids commercials to see how different they look.
Ooh, singing the American anthem. You get
Animation
that.
isn't really working to help any of the messages or styles of these stories. None of them stand out. The animation isn't adding anything. And it just
How would Gintama be improved with a different art style? You can't just say it's not helping. Is it hurting?
Is it hurting?
tiring, you know? Watching a dozen different animated shows in a row with the exact same art style, it'd be sort of like watching a bunch of shows in a row that were set in the exact same place. And the same thing is true.
What's the problem with that?
I don't understand.
If I'm a fan of Star Wars, I'm getting 8 Star Wars stories. I like the world. The story might be the issue, but I wouldn't be like, oh man, this is a Star Wars show in the Star Wars universe. What?
They've done big, hey, the next Avengers is coming out. Come watch every Marvel movie in a row for like 16 hours straight at movie theaters.
Would you compare Berserk to, go back up? Berserk to Rent a Girlfriend? This person would.
For the world and backgrounds, virtually every single anime out there has 2D animated characters on painted landscapes. This works very well some of the time, like with Frieren, which is a pastoral fantasy about its ancient and bored...
But you also, if you're gonna not talk about the animation, the behind the scenes stuff, you gotta be like, okay, the animation, how they animate things are also different from Japan to wherever they outsource it out for American cartoons, or if they even do it in America.
And it's also super shitty that he's kind of because I really don't know what they are.
I also don't.
That they're kind of moving the framework of their argument, because now we're talking about, oh, it's characters just plopped in front of painted backgrounds and stuff. But then you look at Gumball, it's very just flat sitting there background. We had the Flintstones meme of just them walking in the same background. For the most part, even in America, you're just plopping characters in front.
Simpsons, Family Guy.
That's why in cartoons, you'll notice that something will be off color compared to the rest of the scene, because that is the thing that's going to interact with the scene itself. It's going to be like a rock falling or a book that can be moved, whereas everything else just like this painted, matted on thing. But you're not talking about the backgrounds of American cartoons. You're not talking about it with the Japanese cartoons.
Main character finally finding meaning in life and marveling at the wonders of nature and human connections. It's a show that takes place after the big evil overlord has been defeated, one about pastoral beauty and what it means to be human. So having the main characters be realistic and appealing and the world be beautiful and painted fits perfectly. The same thing applies to many Studio Ghibli movies, which tend to feature the simple beauty of nature as an important theme, how it can be both majestic and terrifying. But even then, I think Frieren could have done something a bit more special, even if it were just with the main character herself.
What? I'm waiting.
They're gonna explain.
For example, I feel like having Frieren specifically be drawn linelessly could make her feel more timeless and out of place. Something simple like that. Still, overall, the style works very well for both of these. But on the other hand,
I didn't even see the real difference between the two.
They should have done side by side.
Yeah.
That looks like that looks like trash. Go back.
But then you're just trying to make something special that isn't special.
That does look kind of her. Because the lightness of her skin gets kind of lost in the lightness of her hair. So it just looks kind of like they're mushing together.
Or even if she's standing on the background of something, she might get lost in it if there's no real line to...
But maybe they're thinking that would be what the point is and that would help it. But yeah, I don't think that this looks better or worse. I don't think that this would improve it or make it worse.
Visually, you would find it more interesting. Visually, I would find it less interesting or more off-putting.
Or equally as interesting.
Out of place. Something simple like that. Still, overall, the style worked.
But then you have to just go, okay, so did they develop lines as time went on? Why does she not have lines? Oh, because she's from the past, so she's different. That's purely for us, and it's not an aesthetic in the world.
Yeah, because when you're talking about like an American cartoon, these cartoon characters are existing in the same world where you get these super weird proportions. They personally don't find it weird because that's who they are as people. That's what they see every day. People should look at her like she's weird if she doesn't have an outline. But no, it would just simply be for us, the audience.
But then they're going, hey, this would help to fit the world. But what about My Hero, where All Might is drawn with he's the only person drawn with that shadowy thing, thus differentiating himself from literally everybody else. It's what you want over there.
And that's a show that is very quote unquote anime style, just the regular proportions. Even though they've got these ridiculously proportioned characters, for the most part, the regular proportioned characters are just the anime style, quote unquote.
Now do it in manga without lines. Oh, you ain't getting nothing done.
It's very well for both of these. But on the other hand, if you're making a funny action show about beating up monsters, do these painted backgrounds and realistic character designs really fit? And also,
Yes, it can fit. It cannot fit. It's all depending on what the artist wants. How does it not fit? What makes it not fit?
Especially when you're showing a comedy scene where their mouths get all open and they're very exaggerated.
And you can't tell me the line work of this is the same as in
Unknown Gaming XL says
Food Wars.
Elves lives matter elf, female sign elf, male sign rock.
Why is the closed fist a rock?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, what? Just say black power fist, robot lady.
With the white power fist?
Or yellow power fist. What is this guy even? I do not know.
Have to be painted and realistic in the same way every time? There are plenty of ways of making characters.
But I've seen Konosuba get very ridiculous proportions with their thing. We've seen a lot of times where these anime, they go into like this stilted 2D, just kind of flopping on the screen type of thing.
When Stain was approaching the kids, he had like a red background moon and
dude, ask a mangaka to draw this weekly.
Are you out of your mind? And that's also a thing. It makes things easier to draw. So you have just a normal... I do not see a problem with just having a human person with human proportions. We're going, well, if Gumball has a cat person, so that's different than The Simpsons where they're all people.
And even then, you don't get these hyper-realistic drawing styles in American cartoon. Why would you ask for it in something like this?
It'd be 1 page a week.
Draw, monkey, draw. He gives us problems, but no direct solution.
Konosuba is known for going off-model. Yeah, there's also those off-model
Gaming
times.
and Village says, they are not same bro, you just bad eyesight.
Like prison school, where they just get all sorts of insanely detailed and their faces get all weird and stuff. The pooping scene, the scene where Gakudo is just looking at him where he's got super lined face. What about those super detailed moments like Shigaraki, where his face is...
I showed that to somebody that was just like, I've never seen like a super horrific manga panel from something that's not horror. And I just showed them that.
It's a great scene.
But it's something you do to accentuate the situation, and it's a one-off. If Shigaraki just looked like that at all times, one, it would be very hard to do, and two, it would lose the impact of when he does do it.
And I'm not going, hey, the one on the right is inherently better or worse than the one on realistic, I don't care. I don't think that Mikasa would be better if she was drawn like a traditional Japanese woman.
You can't advocate for both the ridiculousness and hyper-realistic versions of things in the same breath, because which one do you want? Are you okay with these exaggerated proportions where everything is kind of flatter than it would be in real life? Or do you want these realistic proportions where it looks like an actual Japanese woman at all times?
That look like real people and have backgrounds that look good and still having it all be unique. Just take a look at the
You just go background.
I don't care about unique. I
just-
care about your story being good.
Just with the backgrounds to be good. What do you mean to be good?
Hey, Archer, Frisky Dingo, all these from the same animation studio look the exact same.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
So you don't bring up Archer to me? Just because it's got harsher and color palettes? Thank you for re-upping Michael to the bombs.
American show Archer, which is a parody of James Bond-style spy thrillers. It looks kind of like an old action serial and draws all of its characters...
Based on what old action serial? What are you talking about? Give me an example of one of those that you're talking about.
What are we talking about?
Unless you mean that... No, I can't.
with super thick line work, which gives them very distinct outlines and makes its style stand out, yet still makes them look like real.
How does having thick outlines make them stand out? You can't just say that they do. What makes them stand out? Are you saying they stand out from the background, from other characters in other shows? What stands out?
People. Same thing with Arcane. It's a 3D animated show and
come on, dude. You can't do...
here comes Spider-Man. We're gonna get
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's sort of anime-esque, but still has its own look, especially with the way it handles lighting. It's
because it's 3D animated.
Absolutely stunning and perfectly unique. It doesn't look like...
You said unique again.
Any other animated show I've seen.
I don't care.
Into the Spider-Verse works the same way. It's kind of
TRX
similar to...
525 says, this man doesn't watch anime and barely watches Western shows if he's claiming there's no homogenization in them either.
Just you're pointing out the unique ones and not the ones that are samey, and then you're pointing out you think that you're pointing out all the samey ones in Japanese animations, but not talking about the unique ones.
You're also not thinking in the way that you might get 110 Japanese animated things a year. You might get 30 2D animated things in America a year at best. What's the American shows that have come out in the past 2 years, and have they matched a season of an anime cycle?
Yes, because Family Guy, American Dad, and the Cleveland Show clearly you look unique. You can just do that to be as disingenuous as this person is being. Just like, look at these. They look the same.
Calling anything interesting and unique is a nothing burger in general. Animation unique raw.
Arcane, but also takes a ton of influence from superhero comics, with dot and crosshatch shading, onomatopoeia, text boxes, and a bunch of other stuff to make it different. But you look at anime, and not only do almost all of them look pretty real.
Besides Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Realistic.
I would very much like to move away from this animation point.
They also look realistic in the exact same way. I don't think it helps that 99% of anime are 2D animated. 2D animation is great, don't get me wrong, but it's always good to have a little variety, and that's something anime is sorely lacking.
Anime has so much variety. There's 3D animated anime. There's 2D and 3D mixed anime. What are you talking about? Land of the Lustros is 3D animated. Ajin.
High Speed Something Racing is 3D. That came out this year.
Leo Luster says, never mind the glasses. This guy needs the money for his Alzheimer's because he is clearly forgetting to bring up examples.
What's that? Sandland is 3D. Ajin is dope. What was that one that Ralph got really mad at? That Mac one that was coming out soon.
Oh.
That's coming out on Netflix.
I forget.
That's 3D.
Doesn't watch anime, so of course he doesn't know what he wants already exists. Yeah. You're complaining about something that you don't watch, going, where's the unique stuff when it's there, when the stuff that you're complaining about isn't not unique.
So no praise to Attack on Titan. It just doesn't account.
Trigun Stampede
is 3D. No, Trigun Stampede was a series.
It was a series.
Plus, there's some things that 2D animation just can't really do. It's super hard to change camera angles in 2D. Like, if I want to...
You can't say that they can't do it and then go, it's hard to do.
So they have the capability to do it. They just
can't indicates it's not possible to do. Hard indicates you can do it, but it's going to be difficult.
No, Triton. They're acting like 3D animated anime do not exist. Beastars! You telling me Beastars is unique looking?
Hashtag furry.
Even though the anime really hurt the manga on that one.
But yeah, wouldn't you say that once they do those dynamic camera zooms and stuff, that makes it more impactful? Because that looks...
The Elusive Samurai just had...
Doro. Oh yeah, look at that. 3D. I haven't seen Hayze. Is that 3D? There's no way that I can look that up. I'm afraid. It's impossible.
Y'all are gonna get your eyes assaulted again for a second. But just look at this in camera! What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Dude! What are we talking about?
Not Kaiju 8. Sorry, I mispronounced that. Yeah, that's episode 9. We're close. Isn't that 3D though? It seems like it's a mix of 2D and 3D.
Absolutely, it's a mix of 2D and 3D.
Chris the Chilled says, "This is what happens when a YouTuber does little to no research and just waffles bullshit to the audience."
It's when they have a very limited scope of what they're talking about. They've seen the top 10 anime lists and just go, oh, these all look the same. So anime just mostly all looks the same. But it's 2D. It's a 2D character on a 3D background doing 3D animation with the camera movement, which is what he wants because Spider-Man is basically that. Or he's talking about it's hard to do things on 2D that you can't do on 3D, but we're literally showing that. Trying, you keep lowering the number. Yes, most anime is 2D animated. But there are 3D ones out there. They're acting like those do not exist.
Move this picture of Earth to the left or right, it's super easy and I can spin it no problem. But if I want to spin it so I can see the other side, whoop, it doesn't work. If you wanted to do that, you would have to redraw the background at a slightly different angle every single frame. Meanwhile, in a CGI show like Arcane, everything's a 3D model, so you can just...
So this would make more sense if you're advocating for the fair treatment of the animators. You're just going, oh, it's hard to do. Whoops.
Oh yeah, Ruby did that.
But this is easier to do in this thing. So what exactly are you saying with this? It's easier to do here, absolutely. But you can do it in 2D animation.
Mock says, "As much as I don't like Demon Slayer, I think we need to recommend it to him."
Oh, that would blow their mind.
Oh, yeah. It looks different. The art style. Oh, yeah.
Move around the camera and spin objects around no problem. Look, there's shaky cam and the camera can change angles. It looks so cinematic.
I just showed something cinematic. That was a 2D anime.
This is crazy.
It was on a 3D background. It happens all the time now.
This is a big reason why 2D animation can sometimes look flat. The camera can't move around anywhere near as much as it can in CGI.
I have never looked at something in anime and gone, this looks flat. Even the things that are just flip flapping and that's all you got. I'm not, oh, this looks flat. I don't know what you're talking about. I would ask them, does Total Drama Island look flat? That was good timing. But does it
Thank you,
flat?
You're wholesome, bro, for re-upping to the bums.
Is it better or do you like Total Drama Island less because it's flat?
Oh yeah, the Gear 5 animation stuff.
Do you think that Total Drama Island would be better if it wasn't flat? Come on now.
Production costs on a single movie would cause a national recession. Anime has started to use CGI a bit more to get this effect, but it's generally still quite limited and basically absent in most older stuff, and that can make the action come off a little stilted. And while Japanese video games have no problem doing the anime style...
What do you mean it comes off as stilted? Because I remember I watched that episode of Chainsaw Man, and it did not look stilted. It was very fast. The camera was moving quite a lot. There was quite a lot of stuff that was going on. He didn't look stiff. Movements were... He was moving like a human would. Arm moving up, down. It wasn't moving all the way 360. What are they talking about?
3D, for some reason, there aren't very many fully 3D anime, at least not many good ones. Meanwhile, Disney...
There are not many. No, but there are not many good ones.
Pixar and DreamWorks have been making pretty good quality CGI
Jay
movies
says,
for...
JoJo has been using CGI since the beginning and it looked good.
Land of the Lustrous again.
Now we're talking about video games. I don't understand.
Years now. And that's not even mentioning stop motion and rotoscoping, which both give pretty specific...
So if you're going everything looks generic and everything because it all looks flat, couldn't you just be like everything is just 3D for Pixar? So wouldn't that be generic? Because if once you're going to Pixar, you know that you're going to get a 3D animated thing. You're going into anime to get a 2D thing, but that's generic because it's... I don't understand this.
Vibes that you
Movie
can't really...
and TV series are two different things. This point is horrible.
Replicate otherwise. These are both pretty common in North America and Europe, but barely exist in Japan. Anime studios and manga publishers seem to have a devout, almost religious dedication to sticking to a single art.
What are these from? Is this somebody that drew this? Is this somebody's art style evolving? What is this? I can't think of something from 2010 that is just like, okay, this is all this was. What's the difference between the two? The eyes
they're saying that...
No, they say that it evolved.
Yeah, but it's basically the same is where he's going with it, or they're going with this.
Style, with only very minor shifts over the course of entire decades. Meanwhile, American studios tend to be a lot more experimental. There's this show that came out in 2020 called Smiling Friends that's become pretty popular. It's a 2-season show about these guys called Pim and Charlie who work at a company called Smiling Friends, where they go on short little adventures to make people happy. It's an extremely experimental, surrealist, adult animated comedy.
You really need to start looking for...
DeTrex 525 says, compare the Kung Fu Panda movie to the Kung Fu Panda TV series and see the night and day difference in quality in terms of the models.
Is it Big Stinky?
Because I did an AMV to an anime that had rotoscoping, that had live action people in a 2D space, that had cut out character frames of that type of stuff.
Fooly Cooley did a lot of the things that
Fooly Cooley did a lot of those things.
Because I remember the girl with the shock face and it goes all around 3D. Yeah, watch Fooly Cooley.
Flower of Evil's anime was completely rotoscoped. This person sounds super limited. They don't watch a whole lot, giving me major Zelleros vibes. It's not a compliment.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of the look at this American anime. I do not care.
That intentionally has almost
because these are not human people.
And on top of that, you've picked like 7 American series, but you're not looking at the like 30 Japanese series you could find that do those things for you.
Logic has no fur in the TV series. He's only got black and
whatsoever in how its world works. Smiling Friends asks the question, how nonsensical can we make our world and still have people care about our characters? How would these normal people react when put into a place that's so bizarre it's nearly incomprehensible? And it's pretty interesting. It's personally not for me, but even so, I appreciate that it exists. It's heartening to know that there are still creators out there who want to make something super unique and push the boundaries of what animation can do. Smiling Friends...
How's that pushing the boundaries of what animation can do? It's an art style that they use, and the animation itself is very stilted.
I would like for them because I'm going back to the beginning and them going. Death Note does not do these things. What is unique about Death Note that does not have these things of similar looking characters, flat backgrounds? What is Death Note doing?
This mixes 2D animation, 3D animation, rotoscoping, and live action, and even some 3D video game models in stop motion.
The anime. I can look it up for you.
New IOE and IAE New and says, doesn't Gumball disprove his entire stance by itself?
No.
Completely different and clashing styles, and yet still manages to ground you by having two main characters so relatable that you can't help but feel for them. And plenty of other North American animated works experiment too, like The Amazing World of Gumball, Into the Spider-Verse,
You just naming the same thing!
Love, Death and Robots, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Klaus, Mad God, Loving Vincent, basically everything Laika has ever made.
Sorry, aren't those basically the same thing now? The Laika ones? And I love Coraline. I'm a Coraline boy. But what's the difference between Coraline and Paranorman? Paranorman and Box Trolls?
The Lego Movie, and a bunch more. But when it comes to anime, there just aren't as many. At least not.
Yes, there's not as many because they're doing way more. So you're going to get a lot of the samey, more copy-paste type of things because on any given year, you're seeing 110 anime released that year. Ongoing, new series, what have you. There's probably 20 that's coming out in the fall. Just the fall of this year. Smiley Fans isn't really fair. Every character in that show is a gremlin. Hashtag relatable, really throwing that around now. Then they shouldn't be allowed to make that samey stuff? Why not? People should be allowed to make whatever they want. I don't care that things look kind of the same. Because at that point, why would I watch like a Marvel movie? Because all of them are shot basically the same. They're composited basically the same. The first one that you can see is really different with something like Multiverse of Madness because there were a lot of crossfades that were super weird. But that's because of the director. But for the most part, a lot of directors quit Marvel films because Marvels want their things to be very samey. So why would I ever watch a Marvel film? Why would I watch an action movie for the most part? Why would I watch? What's the difference between any Jackie Chan film? They're all shot basically the same, but the stunts he's doing, the fights he's doing are super different.
As many of them get popular.
There's literally around 200 anime coming out every year. By the way, 20 in the fall and lowballing it. More likely it will be between 40 and 50, if not more. It's crazy. Are you telling me there's going to be 10 American cartoons that are coming out in the fall?
And then they go, yeah, look at the Lego Movie. Okay, we get one of those every 6 years?
We're getting one with Pharrell.
So what we need to do is just go, okay, let's look at the last unique anime 6 years ago. So now we've got an equal comparison.
Yeah, got caught in the chair.
Only ones I can think of are Devilman Crybaby, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, The Red Turtle, and maybe Demon Slayer, but other than that, there isn't much out there. They might get experimental with their stories, plots, or characters, but the animation style tends to stay pretty similar regardless of what it's about.
How is Evangelion experimental? You can't just keep flashing things on the screen and just go, this is what it is. Moving on. You haven't proven a single point by doing that. That is literally nothing, and it's pissing me off.
What did Demon Slayer do differently?
Can we bring up he said that the animators don't get treated right, but wants them to do way more.
You want them to experiment. They are in a style that is easy to crank out, and you get your Sasuke moments that get a whole lot. That's what the purpose of there are hundreds of animes coming out because you could just slap somebody right up in there and warehouse them, and once they pass out and die, you just replace them. Is that a good system? No, it's not.
I wonder if they would be okay with anime-assisted anime where the art style is vastly different, like every other scene, because the AI can't completely recreate every single thing they do every time.
Most anime don't...
I like the name just good. Good. Bad examples.
really make use of the fact that they're animated much at all and just stick with whatever's popular at the time. And that sucks because that's how we push mediums forward. Into the Spider-Verse came in with a steel chair back in 2018.
What is like Spider-Verse now? If it pushed the animation forward, what has done Spider-Man verse as things a lot?
We've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And I can't think of anything else.
And I think that was a Sony's picture one too.
People would say Puss in Boots, Puss in Boots.
But Puss in Boots was pre.
It had crazy animation and looked amazing. And now suddenly, everyone's doing it. And it's great.
Everyone's doing it! Shows one example! Okay, but then what happens if you've got 20 movies coming out with that style?
It is no longer unique.
I truly don't care about uniqueness because eventually the uniqueness becomes homogenized anyway. So I'd rather focus on things like the stories and the characters more so than the way things are drawn. If I get something super pretty, that's cool. But you know, Coco doesn't look too different from a...
525 says, "We said Puss in Boots too, you blind bums."
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you.
Half blind. Get it right. Half legally blind.
Everyone, one guy. Oh, dang, what was my point? What was I screaming about? Sorry, I don't remember what I was saying.
Why is it connected to my head?
More so than the way things are drawn. If I get something... Okay, I remember. Yep.
Ripped, old, edited to get it anywhere. The guy doesn't archive any of his content.
Are you okay?
You can't ever... He talks, obviously he wants a response. You can't fucking respond because he...
Where's TSP coming from? Oh, it's connected to my TV. Oh my god, I'm like, y'all hear it?
So Coco doesn't look too different from a lot of the things Pixar has done, but I really like the leaf bridge or the shot when he's in the underworld and you get the big wide shot. Those are the things where I'm like, wow, that looks awesome. Not that he is drawn differently from somebody in Up.
Pull up Studio Trigger and tell me how many look the same. Yeah. Episode 1 of Kill la Kill has a very good 3D shot that's spinning around. Every media has trends, generic stuff, and outliers. Every media. What is the dude?
Anime, I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's as much. For example,
I would be embarrassed to be like, everyone is doing this art style, and then you have exactly one example. I would take that out.
Okay, what is Spy Family doing different?
Family is a super popular show right now, and it's one I personally love. It perfectly blends a slice-of-life comedy with a spy thriller plot, with hilarious characters, great action, and a genuinely heartwarming story. And yet, it looks like every other anime under the sun.
Jesus!
Okay, so what?
So what?
Would it be better if it was 3D animated instead?
Does it go from a 10 to a 9 because of that? Why are we 13 minutes into an 84 minute? There's so much of these bad arguments.
Yeah. We've got another 70 minutes of this.
Why? This is a show with an incredibly distinct premise and plot.
HOTE says, for example, everything in the top 20.
So this has a unique premise. So does a unique premise automatically equal a unique art style as well? Or can the premise just hold up on its own? Can this just be a story that you're looking at and just go, I dig the story? Why should it have a unique art style? Because it's a unique premise. What isn't a unique premise?
And again, would it make it better?
But see, that's the thing. Keep in mind also.
Yes, Spy Family definitely looks like My Hero, DxD, or Digimon. It's just crazy bars.
A world based on 1960s Cold War America about a super spy and master of disguise adopting a mind-reading child and marrying an assassin so he can get important.
Sure, you can list that out, but and you can go to anything and just go, this is a premise. Show me something that's like this premise. You're going to be hard pressed to find something that's exactly like that premise. So in essence, what's the not unique premise?
Would they be dancing and clapping if Spy Family looked like Gumball?
I'm just so sick of this. I've seen the manga. You can make any plot sound. What can't you? Just the premise of there's a very shy girl who wants to make 100 friends. I'm like, yeah. Uniqueness or not, also I don't care about.
This is a long time on a point we personally don't care about.
But they haven't said nothing.
Is adopting a mind-reading child and marrying an assassin so he can get important information out of a high-ranking government official. For God's sake, one of the main characters is a dog named Bond, which was named by Anya after the...
One of the characters in Komi Can't Communicate, her hair is always on fire. Come on now!
The main character of her favorite show, Bondman, a TV show about a brilliant super spy. The spy thriller elements of the show are the most spy thriller content I may have ever seen.
525 says, "Shy girl dealing with people? I hope they talk about serious about this topic."
We need to get to that video one day.
So why isn't it animated like one?
Animated like one what? What has been animated like that?
They might. I'm precogging, but they might want heavy shadows and stuff like that to accentuate the spy stuff.
Wouldn't Dragon Ball be unique at this point since new anime don't animate like it?
Animation, even in the tensest moments, just looks like a generic shonen anime. Hell, Persona 5 is great about this. Every inch of it is dripping with a unique visual style that fits incredibly well with its heist thriller plot.
No, this is
stylistic. Good job showing only the menu.
The menu looks stylistic, but the characters look generic.
Good job. Show a cut scene and tell me how that looks unique.
And it doesn't even it's not drawn unique. It just so happens that it's 3D as opposed to 2D. You look at something like the Persona 3 Reload when they do the anime scenes, or even Persona 5 when they do the anime scene. It's gonna look very generic because it's just an anime scene now.
But you're talking purely about the menu. Imagine an anime, 23 minutes of this.
And it's a video game. If a game can look like
Unpause! Unpause right now! Come on with this!
That's crazy!
This is not to be like, this is a video game and it's doing unique stuff. Okay, what about the 5,000 JRPGs when you just press start and you just scroll down a menu? There's 8 personas where the menu is unique and you're going, look at this thing!
And also, this isn't a spy thriller.
Keep in mind also,
this is a thief. They are thieves.
My goodness! What do you think that they can take from this?
Oh, Mish, thank you. Yo, found your channel a week ago. I like your vids. Keep it up. Thank you very much.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
We don't want you here.
You see in the corner. Stop coming to these.
A TV show and a manga can too. Spy X Family doesn't.
What is a manga? Oh, break your hand shading in completely black panels. A manga can do it. What's your example? How could they do it? Don't just say they could do it, because anybody could do anything. There's
3D manga, let's go.
Here comes the manga about a sentient hot air balloon going to space. Let's go. Well, yes, it could happen. And it's a unique premise, so maybe you watch it.
No, you can't show menu games.
And then just go do it like this.
That's actually
that is infuriating.
Doesn't have to look exactly the same, of course, but I think it's something worth taking some inspiration from. Even if it's only for a few freeze frames here and there, it could really help to give the show some extra personality and flair. Like if Anya...
But that's just flair. Mm-hmm. It's just putting a cherry on top of a sundae.
Yes.
If the sundae sucks, which is the meat and bones of what you want, which would be story, characters, that type of thing, If that sucks, I don't care how delicious the cherry is. My Sunday sucks.
At the end of the season of Spy Family, are you going to go, I love the characters, I love the premise. Oh, there was also this 3-second shot that looked really good. And also this, and also this. It's like, that's not going to factor into it. That's seasoning.
Suddenly has a horrible realization, as she so often does. Maybe instead of doing the thing every other anime does with the purple filter and the downwards line, you could have some black lightning and her face turn all bright white and green.
But they also do that as well.
I don't know, something else. I'm not an artist.
Something else! I just want different!
And how does that speak to her psychicness? What about the green? It's purely just to be different at that point. It's not about anything that speaks to the character at all.
Watch JoJo's.
Watch JoJo's and blow your mind!
Yo, 3D animated parts. 2D on 3D planes, camera work, way different art styles at
Dutch
times,
says,
different
if he
color
truly
palettes.
wants unique, watch Go Get 23.
I don't know that argument.
What about the mangakas that draw? Go back up a little bit. What about the mangakas that draw characters from different series and draw in their own art style, like a Rocky drawing Luffy, for example? This immediately kills the argument that this person. There's so many things that kill this argument that this person is making, and it's because it's such a flimsy argument. Oh, Death Note, great. The background when it shifted from red to blue. Yep. Debunked.
I'm not an artist, so why do you think you're qualified to talk this in depth on a topic you know nothing about? The reason it is dark and purple is to show sadness and depression type feeling. If it was green, that would be out of place. By the way, why are we complaining about the color purple right now? Wanting different is very relatable. I just want something else. I don't know what else. Just throw paint on screen, I guess. I'll probably be entertained.
I don't know I'm no artist. I don't know what I want, but I don't want the same thing. Sometimes you just want a burger. That's cool.
I don't want grape jelly on my burger. I'm sorry. It's different, but I don't want it. No. There's no problem with wanting different, but there is different out there. You're just not looking for it. We've named so many different types of things. So many. But they're just going, 3-second shot where it's red and like a spy thriller. That's all it takes?
Yes, because they're about to show Death Note and just go, look, this scene where they're in a completely black isolated room and they're red and blue.
But that's not enough! That's just a 5-second shot!
Death Note did this super well. All of the monologues and realizations have a stylized lighting to them.
525 says, this would be like saying McDonald's burgers are the exact same as a Burger King burger.
That is essentially the point that they're making.
Helps to make them so much more dramatic and memorable. Try something like that. I want to reiterate that not every anime has a generic art style. There are quite a few that are fairly unique. For a famous example, One Piece has some pretty expressive characters.
People hate it.
At least with the dudes. Some of them have dots for eyes or strange proportions or really odd facial structure. Hell, the main character Luffy has a chin that's an almost perfect semicircle. That's pretty rare. It's a fantasy epic, sure, but it's also partially a slapstick comedy show that takes pretty great advantage of its character design. And that's something that, despite never having watched it, I can still appreciate.
Why are you speaking on things that you don't know about? The animation, and then you talk about how Death Note is good because it goes into red and blue, and then you just talk about character designs. You don't talk about the character designs in Death Note. You talk about an aesthetic thing, and then talk about the character designs in One Piece. It's not just animation.
They're conflating like 5 different things and interchanging them at whims. Oh, it's design. No, it's the color palettes. No, it's the way the camera work is. No, it's the way you animate it. 3D versus 2D. It's just like 5 different things. Just like, okay, it's time to talk about this when I mean animation. It's time to talk about this when I mean animation. What is happening?
They're going all over.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, boy. They said they alluded to them not being very familiar with Demon Slayer. So it's going to be pure look at it.
Episode 19?
There's no way. Well, there is a way. And it's gonna happen.
Same thing with Demon Slayer. It looks pretty similar to other anime, but adds a handful of unique elements that make it distinct, especially in the fight scenes. Beautifully animated show. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is...
Ivana Neri says, 3D mangas do exist.
Hey.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Hey, Demon Slayer is unique.
Because
and
it
does
different things.
Because it does different things.
And it's beautifully animated.
And moving on to JoJo.
It does different things. It's beautifully animated, so it's unique.
That's not a good example. Well, it is a good example, but you've not proven your point. It is purely look at it and come to the conclusion that it's beautiful. What if I just go, okay,
thanks for the JoJo's though.
Comey is beautiful. Then what?
Beautiful does a lot of different things with his animation styles where they become very short characters and
because their point was it's beautiful and it's unique.
For having ridiculous and dramatic art style to complement its ridiculous and dramatic scenes, until The Princess Kaguya, my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, is all drawn like an old Japanese painting, and it looks absolutely beautiful. But these are the exceptions rather than the rule, and it can...
you can't say that American cartoons are the rules. When you use nothing but exceptions. You use gumballs, non-human characters. You use smiling friends, non-human characters. You use Archer with their darker outlines.
This is crazy.
How is Spider-Verse the rule? You said it pushed animation forward, so it did something different. How is it the rule?
Make watching anime pretty tiring. It'd be sort of like going to the same Italian restaurant for every single meal. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Italian food.
Dude,
and maybe
it would be going to different Italian restaurants and ordering basically the same dish. A dish that's pasta, marinara sauce, and like a cheese. But you know what? Lasagna, pizza, breading, I should say. But spaghetti, lasagna,
a starchy carb. This is not a good analogy. Because going to an Italian restaurant, the same Italian restaurant, that's not a good analogy because JoJo's is an action adventure with some comedy stuff in it. Witch Watch is a romance comedy. Those are not the
One
same
Piece
thing.
is a fantasy exploration show.
But if you want to go, they all look the same. Well, you can go, they all look the same. But what's inside of it? Is it such a deterrent that things quote unquote look the same that you just go, I can't even get into this?
It's a great restaurant, but there are only so many items on the menu and they're all made of the same stuff with fairly minor variations. After a while,
I'm sorry, even two pizzas are not the same. You know this. Otherwise, we would just have, let's go to Burger Shop.
I mean, going to a burger place and ordering it from day to day is going to be
Leo
different.
Luster says,
yeah, because
don't tell Buddy that JoJo looks like the style of the time.
that ruins the argument. But one of my favorite things in Wendy's is the breakfast Baconator. I think that it's very, very good. So I ordered that breakfast Baconator with extra cheese sauce. Sometimes they'll put a dab of extra cheese sauce, and sometimes it's slathered. And like the exact same restaurant, two different outcomes. So the analogy is piss.
Pizza Hut and Little Caesars ain't the same.
And they big ain't. And we're not gonna start the argument because you all know what the objectively correct opinion is. Would you eat potato chips and chocolate combo because it's unique? This unique bush.
Triton, they're not. They're not.
Big ups, Corey. That boy is banger.
Yeah, it's probably the best breakfast sandwich
it's
of all the fast
delicious.
food restaurants. I think maybe McDonald's has more breakfast items I like, but my God, that one is A1 with a bullet.
I'd get tired of tomato sauce and I'd start really wishing I could just get a sandwich or some sushi or some goddamn Kung Pao chicken. And what if I'm not in the mood for Italian food or I want something super spicy?
Then go watch the animes where they do that. It ain't hard. Stop watching the same 12 anime that look the same and go outside and find one that's not that.
When I go into an anime or a manga, how it looks factors almost 0%. I don't think that we mentioned how ugly Astro Royale is. If we did, it was so minor. But it doesn't matter. But it is ugly.
But at the same time, I would hate to eat a different thing every meal for my entire life. Sometimes I do want that pizza I had
Dutch says,
2 weeks ago.
There is anime with puppets. Watch that.
What's the anime? Sounds familiar.
Oh, we did talk about the way it looks?
Okay.
I don't remember that, but it's ugly.
Oh, but it is ugly. But I'm sure we didn't stick on it for too long.
Yeah, it's such a minor thing that we look to.
I remember talking about Kagurabachi and how it looked kind of flat.
I've said before that I don't think what was it, either Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen, that doesn't look very good. But that's about the most I give you for that because I just don't think it looks very good.
There's in the manga, there's a lot of sketchy things that are just, and then they just sort of blend into each other with all the action and the onomatopoeia just bouncing on. Like, it's kind of hard to follow sometimes.
There would be nothing on the menu that would work. It'd be like if every single anime were set in the same handful of locations with basically no variation. Wait a minute.
Little Caesars fans, when you ask them to name something good about it, it's the price.
The sauce. The sauce is good. Yeah, it's good sauce.
It's fine.
It's good sauce. I like the garlic parmesan they put on the crust.
I was gonna say butter parmesan. If you don't order Little Caesars with that, you might as well just throw it in the trash.
There you go. I also love their they have like a bread with cheese inside. It's not just cheese stick bread, whatever. It's just like this big flat thing. It's really good.
Hayze Aldonix says, be ready, a bomb is coming.
When you're writing something, it's only natural that you're going to want to set it somewhere you're familiar with and that you idealize.
Oh, not necessarily.
That you're familiar with and you idealize.
There was a writer that I was listening to. She was giving a presentation on write-offs for tax credits. She was like, I took a flight to New York so I can go look at the subway, so I can go, oh, okay, this graffiti, blah, blah, blah. That's a tax write-off. She had a nice little laugh about it. But she just went there to study it so she can more picture and put into words what people should expect from like a New York subway. They aren't set in the same locations though, Lamau. Maybe if you're watching the same few harem slot.
Isekai.
And Isekai, of course. And I've noted that I'm not a fan of like the medieval olden time settings. And my God, did Apothecary Diaries break through that. Cause it should have been down big.
But I'm not a fan, so I simply don't watch that.
But sometimes I do, and I go, okay, whatever, and it kind of just washes over me.
We famously do not dig mecha here, but do you hear us complaining about this show's in mecha? No, I just don't engage with it. I watch the stuff that I like.
The one Isekai, I was like, okay, it's a mecha Isekai. It's double down for me, and I'm like,
The one thing I do complain about where I'm just like, hey, chill out with this, is spicy stuff. Cause like half the new sandwiches is just like, oh, here's this spice. I went to Chick-fil-A today, and they're just like, here's this pepper, garlic, spicy sandwich. I'm like, this is spicy
great.
Bullshit.
There was a time
spicy.
There was a time where ghost pepper was taking over fast food everywhere.
I hate that.
I love it,
so
boy.
I'm gonna complain about that spicy stuff, but I'm not gonna complain about.
But you're not gonna order it. But you don't.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna order it as well.
So don't watch the Isekai stuff.
Earth is a setting that uses a lot of stuff from English, Irish, and Scandinavian history and folklore, since that's what the author, J.R.R. Tolkien, was familiar with and what he appreciated. A huge number of American superheroes are from New York City because that's where the comics industry was big back in the day, and the people who lived in New York and wrote the comics tended to set their stories in the place they knew and loved. But in addition to that, a lot...
I would like to see an interview for that. Was it a place that they knew and loved, or was it just like, this is more appealing worldwide than a Nebraska?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more buildings and things to like swing around and fly through. I would like to know. I would like to see I'm not doubting them. I'm just saying I would like a source for that.
New York is the city of the world, or whatever they call it.
The melting pot
of America.
So, like I said, that versus Wisconsin, New York is a lot more notable.
Even a big city like New Orleans. Would people gravitate towards a New Orleans superhero at that time?
Speaking of Mecha, watch Gundam, you bums. It's so good. There's like 8 Gundam things.
Was that the thing that Ruff was mad about? Was it Gundam?
I think it might have been.
He was pissed, y'all. It looked terrible.
Slug, correction, only half of us are coward. BG loves spicy stuff.
Yeah, no. Give me as much spicy as you possibly can.
A lot of North American and European
I'm gonna end up doing the one ship challenge one day.
European stories are set in a pretty wide variety of places. You got fantasy worlds based in all sorts of different locations and neighborhoods with mass.
But was the writers of Mulan of Asian heritage, or did they just go, we're gonna pick Mulan, the living character, and then make a story about it? Were they familiar with it? Was it something that they idolized, or was it just, what's in the public domain, we're doing that? Under the Sea? Do they idolize the sea? Are they familiar? This doesn't... What are these? What? I can see why people want it.
J_ is gay, aka Beak Sleeper, says, "No, don't do it, BG. It's not worth it."
So I hear.
I think Eric did it, if I'm not
mistaken. Oh no, he was. Oh, and Corey poked the one ship challenge, made me throw up. It was hot coming up too. Hot through all holes is crazy.
I have a sweet tooth, so prefer sweets. Don't get the spicy stuff. I just don't eat it. Yeah, I'm the same. Big sweets.
They went to China to experience the culture and get references for the art. Okay. Araki does the same thing with JoJo's. He went to Italy for that. Pocahontas, are they in Georgia the jungle? Are they just in a forest?
Different wealth, with characters of different races and backgrounds in different time periods and dealing with different problems. And yeah, there are a lot of medieval European fantasy stories out there too, but generally speaking, North American and European books, comics, movies, and shows are pretty diverse in terms of setting. Even if we're just...
Because they are. I've established that they're different, so they are different.
Like you said, they got their own problems, their different races and stuff, but that's like almost every isekai out there.
At animation set in the real world made in the past 20 years or so, you get a pretty wide variety. We Bear Bears is about some bears in San Francisco, Gravity Falls follows 2 kids in a small town in eastern Oregon, The Boondocks is about 2 black kids who move from downtown Chicago to live with their grandpa in a majority white suburb, Ben 10 is a giant road trip across the entire USA, King of the Hill is in rural Texas, BoJack Horseman is in Hollywood in Southern California, and The Simpsons is in Springfield someplace somewhere. And a ton of the stuff from Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks is set all across the planet. Point is, North American animation has a fair bit of variety in setting, variety that isn't present in many anime. The vast majority of anime are stuck in just a handful of settings. If it's set in real life, there's a 90% chance it'll be in a big city in Japan, probably Tokyo, and will be about a middle or high school kid. There are a handful...
Pause. It's going to be about a middle or high school kids. You need to show some statistics for that. It'd be good if you just go, here are all the shonens running in Shonen Jump right now, and 60% about a middle school or high school person. That would have been good. You didn't do that. But yes, you went, they're going to do something that they're familiar with. They're familiar with Tokyo.
And on top of that, you're looking at a handful of anime in like San Francisco, which again, big town. But the ones you mentioned are like Springfield. We don't know where that is. Boondocks, just a white suburb in some place. Gravity Falls was the one you mentioned that was way out there. But then you can look at anime that's not in Tokyo, that's not in Kanto, that's not in those type of things.
Why is it fine for so many of the superheroes to be in New York, but it's not fine for so many anime to be in Japan?
Mostly Tokyo. Because
Cameron Daly says,
no one gave me that. I had that thought before you wrote that.
To
Shut
Japan,
up.
so why wouldn't they take place in their region that they know best?
Shut up. I had that thought as well before this. This was my original thought. TM, do not steal.
Most cartoons have child protagonists.
Yes. Gumball. What else did they mention?
Oh my god, I wonder Tokyo Revenger story happened in Tokyo City.
But does it make it lesser that it's set in Japan?
Inazuma 11 went all around Japan. Ashura 21 went to America. Tokyo Ghoul takes place in Tokyo?
Isn't it to connect better with the audience that you're trying to cultivate? Especially considering with Shonen Jump's
Anime
heavy
is not for us.
It is not for us. But with Shonen Jump's chop blocking things, you gotta catalyst as soon as possible. So are you gonna do some, my manga is about South Africa? Well, there's gonna be some people that are like, I don't know what that is. But if you just go, Shinjuku, Japan, they're gonna be like, I've been there. And there might be more likely to check that out. I'd see no problem with things from Japan being set in Japan. That's like going things from America set in America. Everything that you mentioned was from America and it's set in America. And then you just go, hey, yo, but this is in Japan, but it's set in Japan. I don't care. I really do not care. I cannot tell you the difference between Osaka and Tokyo. I've seen so many anime take place in those or travel through those places. I don't know. Just like somebody from Japan probably wouldn't know the difference between San Francisco and California. It don't matter. It truly don't matter what the setting is. What are they doing with it? This unique merchant is killing me. It's all about, this needs to be unique. This needs to be different. It's all the same. I don't give a
Yeah, you should create your own universe and spend the first chapter telling 1,000 years worth of history like Samurai 8.
I can go in my room right now, download 10 slice of life things where they're just in high school and they're just friends and they're just wacky and I love all of them. I wouldn't be like, well, this is just them hanging out in the classroom. Get this trash out of here. I don't care. Tell a good story. Give me good characters. I don't care if it's set in space. I don't care if it's set in the future.
I could name 5 things set in space. Trigun, where's Trigun set? Like Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy,
Astra Lost in Space.
Astra Lost in Space.
Tsunohara Kento, the author of Sket Dance.
Various Gundams, Big O.
I do not care, but they are there if you want them. But again, this would be very good. Off the dome, I was just like, what I would do is just go through all of Shonen Running right now and just go, here are all the mubs that are under 18. Here's all the things that's set in Japan. It's 60% on both of them. Ayo, what's going on here?
Like a pie chart or something.
Yeah, something, just to prove your point.
Not a pie chart, whatever, Venn diagram.
Or that graph from that other video that was awful. But this just going, Studio Ghibli don't do it. Ghibli, shut up, I don't care about that. I'm ranting. But they don't do this. It's like, okay, there are things that don't do it. There are things that do it. I don't think
takes place in China. Dungeon Meshi takes place in medieval fantasy world. Digimon. Trigun is set on the planet Gunsmoke. Thank you for the super chat.
Of shows and movies that are set elsewhere and follow different subjects, like My Neighbor Totoro being in rural Japan and being about little kids.
Oh, rural Japan. We've got a lot of those. Basically all of Isekai. You got stuff like Inuyasha. The Elusive Samurai, which I just showed off. Berserk.
But again, those are the exceptions. When it comes to slice of life anime, basically all of them take place in a middle or high school in a big city.
And it's great. I don't care.
What's the problem? I just said I can walk in there and just download all of these. Read Astra Lost in Space. It takes place in space. And
would it be any different if they were in college to me? Not really.
I don't care. It's all about the characters. But this allows for limitations of we can't just do whatever we want. We have money problems. We have school problems. We have a situation where there are 26 other people in our class that we can interact with. So that's 26 different other characters plus other classmates and everything. You could be like, there's a friend group, but there's not too much opportunities for 50 other people to rock you, just like if it's in a school thing.
So much of slice of life is essentially coming of age tales, and it's really hard to do a coming of age tale with people in their mid 30s. But you do have those types of things, like Sweat and Soap, like My Tiny Senpai from Work, like Love is Hard for Otaku. All these office romances that do these types of things, and you even got the disgusting grown man, high school teenager. Like I brought a high school teenager home from work or whatever. I found a lost high school teen, like and I brought her home. That was a whole
Dragon Ball takes place on Earth, and it's a crazy world in the OG.
Mm-hmm. There's a dog president.
Way of the House Husband.
Love
Black Clover. Medieval fantasy world.
They're a slice of life for adults, dude. Yeah,
I just rattled off like 5 of them.
Yeah, but they're still in Tokyo. Oh, blown away. We just got cooked. Got mind crushed like a Yu-Gi-Oh. We're in a card now.
Now, this is to some degree true with American shows as well, but there's a difference here. When you have TV shows in North America, they really make sure to take advantage of the different settings available, with most shows having a pretty wide variety of locations. You have shows and movies set in LA with its hot climate, creative people, and movies, Texas, which is hot, dry, and culturally unique, Hawaii, which is a set of humid, tropical islands, and so on. There are shows set in high schools, sure, but there are also plenty out in the woods, or in the suburbs, or in haunted locations near...
But the Invader Zim is not set in the suburbs. They go to school. Kim Possible does things in school and outside of school. Invader Zim does things inside and outside of school.
Danny Phantom, Totally Spies, Winx Club, Power Rangers.
Small town on a beach, and while there might be a lot in the suburbs, some of them follow a high schooler, while some of them follow a salaryman and
Are you saying that you can't do this exact same thing with anime?
I hate how I'm trying to argue for this dumbass's point, and then he immediately fucks up and screws my devil's advocate afterwards, goddamn.
Dude, I just made like 4 salarymen. There are some things that do this and some things that do this. Yes, like anime, but then there's also stuff like Gumball where it's set in a school and it's set in a home life. And then there's all types of things like that.
Or Rugrats, or...
Where it is a school
recess.
It doesn't matter. Oh my goodness. This unique merchant, it needs to be different.
Aged kids. Meanwhile, you look at anime, and especially nowadays, so many of them will be set in a high school in a big city, often for seemingly no reason. Here's an anime about a piano
Kaguya-sama is peak, so I don't want to hear this high school
This might be a good show. Maybe engage in the medium before you talk about it.
That's that future. Hey, Deku, shut up, you
Yo, Kaguya is so good.
Even if it's set in stone.
You're not even watching it. You're just going high school.
You nerd.
That's what the issue. This might be a good show, but the show about 2 people trying to get the other to confess need to be in high school, not bad. But why? Maybe watch the show and be informed with this, and not just ask questions about why is this thing happening that I don't know about.
Why would I want to watch 2 30-year-olds try to get the other person to confess? This is a high school drama thing.
That could be interesting, though.
Yeah, sure, but this is a thing that's pointed in high school. And on top of that, most of it doesn't even take place in a classroom. So often they're in the student council room, doing things there.
Does anything need to be anywhere?
Anything.
I can't even ask you, would it be better or worse if this was in an office environment? Because mother, you ain't watch it. Does it need to be? I don't know. Does it not need to be? What is the argument against it other than other things have set things in a school which everybody can relate to? My goodness. What was them super chats?
Oh, sorry, we forgot. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. Hi, thank you for the super chat. Hope Kaguya Park broke Camel's back for me. Now, Ray, it's almost like America is huge AF. And that's another part of it. There's so much going on in America where Detroit is not like Chicago, it's not like Atlanta,
Meme
it's
Spice
not
says,
like Oregon.
Yeah, but why are they in school? There is no reason for it.
Yeah, okay. There's no reason for it. But there's no reason not to, except be different. If these were just, if these were two neighbors trying to do it, then he would just go, oh, but it's just set in Japan. Oh, but it's just set in the suburbs. Oh, it's just this. What is it? Usobit Senpai is set in, like, rural Japan. It's a very small town, very small school. And it's about basically a sex, repressed person acting like they're a sex fiend. Trying to embarrass the kid in school that's their friend.
To quote the writers of Ruby, school is boring. Well, they ain't writers. Anything can be made interesting.
Oh yeah! It has to be, because the story dictates that it needs to be in school. Because once she graduates from school, she takes over the family. She's set up for that now because she's supposed to go into a marriage and she has to go away from the person she loves because she needs to take over this family because that's what she's supposed to do. Kaguya's entire point is that she has no free will of her own. It's all dictated by the family, but she has the student council, she has the friends, and she has the person she loved. And she was a 40-year-old woman. It's less of being heartbreaking because you've lived your life.
This was a very bad example to be like, does this need to be? Sounds like it needs to be.
And you ain't even watched it, so you don't know. It's the point of it is the school. Because it's the only place she can experience freedom to make her own choices.
That sounds like it needs to be in school.
Chris the Chilled says, tell M, BG.
Oh, dude. Oh, no. This is so bad.
I would aggressively refrain from using examples of things that I've not seen.
That's crazy, Bar. Kaguya-sama is so good, y'all.
But does it need to be in a school?
Yeah, I mean, it might be good.
I mean, whatever. But does this need to be in school? Well, yes. For these exact specific reasons. Oh.
Like, it would have been better, something like, when will Ayuma make his move? Where it's just about shogi. That can happen in college. It doesn't need, it could have happened at a local park. Mm-hmm. Those types of things, sure. No, this needed to happen.
You don't get to talk about things, Triton.
Foreboding.
For seemingly no reason. Here's an anime about a
seemingly no reason for a show you did not consume.
Piano prodigy. It's also in a high school. This one's about people learning to be superheroes. It also has to take place in a super school.
They are learning how to be
It is
heroes.
Called My Hero Academia. I would assume it should take place in a school. This one is called Assassination Classroom. School's probably pretty important to what's going on to it.
They were 25, 26-year-olds learning how to be heroes. You would just sit there and just go, okay, so for 18 years, did they just have normal curriculum? And now they're just... But they would have to learn to be a hero, so they would have to go to school. Is high school the issue, or is it school in general? Because you're abdicating for a school setting. Does it matter if they're 16, 17, 18, or 25? I don't see what the differentiation is.
Thank you for the super chat, Floofy. Urusei Yatsura is an 80s anime that does things in and out of school. Also, is both slice of life and space alien surreal comedy romance. Please watch or read UI. It's also peak. Thank you.
It's too bad that it looks exactly like Yu Yu Hakusho and it has the same premises Kaguya-sama, so I can't read it.
And it also sucks that you said school, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
And Japan probably, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds like Japan. I can't. It's boring. Unique. It needs to be unique. Does this need to be set in school? Does it not? Shut up. Please shut up. These. Oh my. I can't stand this. The woman part is going to take me to the moon.
Oh, okay. What's the timestamps here? Because we got to decide on a part to stop at.
Looks like they could.
In 29:16, it's the problems with annotation, and that's a 10-minute section.
Excessive length. Oh, dude. All right. So 29:16 is the one we stop at.
Story about trying to assassinate your monster of a teacher. It's fun, but it sticks
Real
with all
Luster
the same.
says, this guy must hate Interstellar Rangers commence because it's peak school drama.
They don't know about Interstellar Rangers commence, and it's
I'm
good
looking for Hope Griffin.
The less people that know about that, the better.
Tropes of a high school anime. This one's about gambling. It's in a high school too. This is a girl trying to track down her father's
You
killer.
are simply going, look at all these anime set in a high school.
Based on teenagers.
You're not making any point with this other than, yes, this is a setting that can be done. If there are 100 stories being told, do you think that there's going to be 100 different places that they're going to be set in?
Do you think there's going to be 80 different?
Come on now. We're going to get these things.
Using superpowers. It's also in high school. These are a mystery horror, a zombie apocalypse plot, and this one's about a time traveler. They're all also high school anime. And this
High School of the Dead is not set in high school. They are in the high school and then they leave the high school. The setting is not high school. The setting is Japan.
Literally do not care.
This isn't even talking about all of them that don't have some twist and are just about characters in high school. There are so many of them.
Yes. And a lot of them are very good.
Spider-Man is set in New York. Fantastic. I do not care. This is a horrible point. Kill la Kill doesn't even focus on the classroom.
Yeah, so many of the things they said do not even focus on the high school aspect.
Still bad.
It's a problem because many stories simply can't be told without being in a certain location. The Boondocks doesn't work if it's not set in the white
Notera
suburb.
says, Persona 3 takes place in a high school, P4 high school, P5 high school, hashtag nudison.
The Simpsons doesn't work unless it's in a small
Yes, and Astra Lost in Space doesn't happen if it's not in space. A scat dance does not happen if it's not in a school setting.
Yeah, these shows would be fundamentally different if they weren't in school.
My Hero Academia needs to be in school because they're learning about being heroes.
In town. King of the Hill doesn't work unless it's in the rural south. And being in San Francisco, aka techie hipster haven, gives We Bare Bears a lot of unique identity. Meanwhile, a frankly ridiculous number of slice of life anime, or even action anime.
Slice of life. This is the life of these characters. What is their life?
Hey,
it's gonna
King of the Hill has a school. They are in school a lot of times in King of the Hill. Simpsons, they are in school a lot of the times in The Simpsons. If we're just talking about these characters being in school, because that's what High School of the Dead was. It was just characters in a school. That's what basically My Hero is. It's just characters in a school, because a large part of the My Hero did not even take place inside of the school.
Imagine picking up a manga and be like, ugh, a school setting.
Another school setting.
We did that with the manga shonen thing that we read because it was like 8 Exorcist things. I was just like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, if you're just reading a bunch of Exorcist things in a row, absolutely. But if I read one Exorcist thing and then 6 months later read a different Exorcist thing, I wouldn't be like, another Exorcist thing. It's just a short time period in which I watched it that was the issue.
But even still, it is just super funny, comedic Exorcist thing. Etchy Exorcist thing. The best Exorcist thing that may soon be canceled, and I will rage against Japan. You move past those things. But this is the premise. They are an exorcist and they are doing this thing. This is just, they are a high school student. It's like, they are a human, so they're gonna go to high school.
In a non-fantastical Japan.
I just do not care about this at all.
Are set in Tokyo or some unknown big city, following a middle or high school aged kid.
Unknown big city. Tokyo or some unknown big city. May not even be a real city. But it's still a problem.
In their adventure.
JJK does not take place in school, but they would name it.
Just growing up. While a lot of them put a little.
I think it's My Neighbor Tonari-san, the one at the bottom. It's specifically about a dude doing weird things while lecture is going on, and she's just like, hey, stop that, we're gonna get in trouble, I'm trying to pay attention. So that needs to take place in school. It's a very good manga.
Or high school aged kid in their adventures growing up. While a lot of them put a little twist on it, at the end of the day, it's still just a twist. And does it change the fact that this big city high school setting is going to be stuck with the same hint?
But is it? Aren't the art styles just a twist on things that we've seen before? Like if anime, let's just say Kaguya-sama. Let's say Kaguya-sama versus Komi. If Kaguya-sama was 3D animated and Komi was 2D animated, isn't that just a twist on the animation itself? But they're still drawn the same and all that other stuff. Would you find that a positive? If so, then the twists matter.
Tropes.
This is just very frustrating because this is just such a who gives an actual point.
2 in a row.
That apply to every high school.
Kokoro
it can be about.
Connect isn't even about confessing. The story also doesn't work outside the high school setting. This side is not watching the example he brings up. Clearly.
Yeah, that's another problem. I don't know if they've even watched these things to go, why is this in high school?
Haven't you heard Sakamoto needs to be in high school because he's the super perfect high school student? This doesn't really work in like an office setting. It needs to be this guy is a super overachiever in classes.
At sports or a school festival or the classmates, and maybe there's some twist and the characters are all trying to outcompete each other to be top student in excessively over-the-top ways. But that's still going to involve them going to school in the same way every other animated thing does.
And if your only issue is this is a setting that happens over and over again, get over it.
Hey, yeah, the Simpsons, King of the Hill, Family Guy, but they're all just gonna have the kids go to school in the same way over and over again. They're all just gonna have the parents go to work and go grocery shopping in the same way over and over again. Isn't this the exact same argument you could be having for any family sitcom drama animated show? What's the difference between American Dad and even something like Rick and Morty?
He got bullied in school with PTSD. They just go to island to island type argument. This is very frustrating. This is going to be very high when the rankings.
This isn't universal.
Gaming and says, because it's Japan.
Because it's Japan. Gumball goes to school quite often. No, but that's fine for some reason. Yes, school is very common setting. Who cares?
Every other animated thing does. Again, this isn't universal, and I have the same critique of American superhero content.
Light Yagami goes to school. It happens in Death Note.
But do you get what I'm saying?
No, not really.
Look at fantasy stories, things aren't much better. North American animation has an incredibly wide variety of fantasy settings that are completely unlike each other. You got Gravity Falls again with its creepy, strange Oregon town, and its spiritual successor Hilda with all of its folk.
Okay, so you got Jigoku Shoujo with this creepy, weird.
There's a manga that is nothing but different horror stories being told in a town.
So now we just got to go, okay, we need to just point to a creepy anime. Just to be like, okay, so now we have the comparison with a creepy anime. Okay, cool. Hey, Mirako-chan, I've not said the name right. The one that I really like, the one that's better than Liar Satsuki. That one.
Remember it.
That one is super creepy, and it takes place at a high school. It is great. And I can't remember the name because my brain is fried right now.
Crazy.
For obvious reasons.
Crazy bars.
Dipper and Mabel are having their summer vacation right now. Oh, just like Phineas and Ferb, summer vacation setting. Oh, I guess it's not unique anymore.
Just like Recess had a whole movie about it? Wow, crazy.
Neo Arcadia says, did he just call Gravity Falls a fantasy?
Absolutely. Or a fantasy setting, maybe.
All I'm hearing is American cartoons greater side.
Floor-style forest magic. There's also the amazing yet unnerving boiling isles in the Owl House, the swampy frogland of Amphibia, the gem world of Steven Universe, the underwater town of Bikini Bottom.
What if we just name different locations?
What if we
Suburban home? Okay, we got King of the Hill. We got Family Guy. We got The Simpsons. We got
American
Gumball.
Dad.
A family structure. All of those take place in that, and then they do something different. Just like anime. A anime about 3 high school boys are gonna be different than 3 high school girls. Asobo, I love that. 3 high school girls, super wacky, but they have a different dynamic than daily life of high school boys, which is also very funny. They're funny in 2 different ways, but it's about 2 sets of 3 high school genders, and they just get into wacky adventures. Both are funny in their own way.
Goblin Slayer is in a fantasy setting because where else is Goblin? Star versus the forces of evil still has Star going to school. SpongeBob goes to school, really. A lot of stuff happens in school in the Owl House.
Iruma gets sold to the Demon World. Now what? SpongeBob got a boarding school. Oh no, we can't escape school!
And SpongeBob, the weird sci-fi fantasies of She-Ra and Samurai.
You think there's not sci-fi fantasy in anime?
And they keep going back to, yeah, there are going to be outliers, but okay. Watch the outliers if that's the problem. Shut up up altogether.
Because then you're going to get if 80% of anime were those creepy towns, you just go, it's homogenized another creepy town.
Samurai Jack, the sheer bizarre planet of Ooh and Adventure Time, the Infinity Train in Infinity Train, Arcane's half steampunk, half magic super city, and Rick and Morty just being fucking insane. So many of the settings in American...
I think that is insanely disingenuous to be like, look at all of these unique settings.
Hayze Aldonic says,
anime cartoons.
Frieren and Black Clover are both fantasies but completely different worlds. I can't put Asta in Frieren and tell the same story.
But then just go, look at this. This is high school. Look at this. And completely ignore One Piece, which you brought up in this video.
They've never seen it.
But they brought up Kaguya and they had never seen it to make a point, and they brought up One Piece to make a point. But you have those things. I can just be like, look at all these unique settings. One Piece. Black Clover doesn't take place in a school. And just keep naming stuff that doesn't take place in a school. And all you can be like, yeah, but most of them do take place in a school. Okay, but most American animation thing has like a family dynamic. Now what? Now we can point to that and be like, oh, another family dynamic.
It's crazy that there's all these cherry-picked examples for American cartoon, and then they just use the most generalized things for Japanese cartoon.
It's just, this video is just one of the most frustrating things. It's just pure sucky of American stuff because, look, this takes place in Texas, and this takes place in California, and this is in school in Japan, and this is in school in Japan. What's the issue?
Canadian animation aren't based on some established location, but are instead creations born from the writer's wild, insane imagination. And that makes most of them extremely—
You mean like Naruto? You mean like One Piece? You mean like Bleach? You mean like Yu Yu Hakusho?
This is killing me.
And these are just basic, most popular shonen anime. That is Oregon.
fun and unique. But you look at anime and you start to notice—
Bleach when they're ghost people fighting with ghost swords
in a structure that's basically old-timey Japan.
Oh, but they go to school sometimes.
It's a pattern. The vast majority of Japanese animated fantasy worlds are based on either feudal Japan or medieval or Renaissance Europe, usually Britain. Seriously, check out the most popular fantasy anime of basically any year, and it'll be like 3 set in Japan, 11 in medieval or Renaissance Europe, 6 of which are vaguely British, and then 1 that's set literally anywhere else, if even that. There are a few exceptions.
So now we're having problems with it not being set in Japan, because the vast majority, you said like 11 in Europe.
And then you bring up an example of something that doesn't do it, but then just go, yeah, but most of them still do it, so it's still bad. Bro is coping.
So again,
what about Pokemon?
If you bring out a lot of material of a thing, there's the greater chance that you're gonna see a lot of the samey thing. If American cartoons were churned out at the rate of Japanese cartoons, you'd see so many of the same things.
One Piece and Dragon Ball being easily the most famous, and Studio Ghibli tends to put its own spin on things, but generally speaking, it is absurdly difficult to find any fantasy anime set outside of Europe or Japan. And
Europe or Japan.
Astra Lost in Space is in space. Fantasy.
Space is a big thing! And
Triton A. Morris
said
says,
fantasy, I don't know what
then maybe they shouldn't be churned out like that.
The anime? What are you talking about? Shouldn't be churned.
They shouldn't be churned out like that because there's not super unique things going on.
Oh, it might be the American stuff. If there was a
No. Triton saying a Japanese cartoon shouldn't be churned out like that if they're just gonna all be roughly the same locations or the same types of settings and that type of thing. They should be 1/10 of what they typically are so they could be more unique things. But uniqueness means zero.
The establishment of the setting is an issue has not been established.
And even if it was an issue, it doesn't matter if the story or the characters and all that stuff is good. I'm not picking up any story because it looks unique. I'm picking it up because I see a synopsis and I go, that interests me. So I'm going to read it.
Hey, Joshua Taylor, get out of here.
Yeah, it means 0 to me, and it means 0 to other people. It shouldn't mean as much to people, is my point.
What is the argument for uniqueness other than it's not like this thing? Where does the argument end? The argument is going to be less than 3 sentences. It is not like this thing.
Does things personally become better because they're not like another thing?
I don't think they do.
Get it. Maybe you don't want to base your story off of India or Arabia, you're not interested, or you don't know if you can portray it accurately, or you don't know enough. But you can always just make your own fully original fantasy world. And honestly, that tends to work out better since it can be more thematically fitting with your story. That's why people...
Are slice of life stories not thematically fitting because they're in high school? Is My Hero Academia not thematically fitting that they go to high school?
Is Magi more thematically
Oh yeah,
fitting
Monster takes place in Germany. Monster's fantastic. Basically what they're going is super popular American cartoons are way different, whereas super popular Japanese cartoons are very samey.
People like Attack on Titans.
When, hey, read the not super popular stuff. Watch this not super popular stuff, and you'll go outside of it. You're basically complaining that pop music sounds the same and you're just listening to your Taylor Swifts and all that stuff, instead of listening to somebody like a Phoebe Bridgers or Boy Genius.
I want an anime set in Nigeria.
So much. And there are so many isekai. Isekai is a type of story where the protagonist gets transported to another world and is almost always a fantasy story. And especially
sure, but then you could just go, there are so many superhero movies. They've
already said I've got problems with superhero stuff.
There's so many genres in what there's so many comedy, there's so many action
Chris the
things.
Jolt says, or Egypt. Oh wait, we have Prince of Egypt.
Triton, we live in the information age. It is a information superhighway. It will take me 3 minutes to find a non-popular story that interests me. 3 minutes.
Yeah, I go to MyAnimeLists for the thing that I like, and then they go recommend it. I don't care about the popularity of the thing. I just watch it or read it. Sometimes I'll just go into my manga app and just go, all right, I want comedy, I want a school setting, and I want romance. Give me.
Cyclone Marks, I believe this is indeed the same person that did that. Why is he using Sword Art Online when it's sci-fi?
in the past decade or so, there have been a truly unbelievable number of these. Sword Art Online, Solo Leveling, Shangri-La.
But compare this to how many things are coming out per year. If it's going to be sub 20 isekais and over 200 things coming out, I think that's a good ratio. And also, I don't care.
Zero, Shoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, No Game, No Life, The Rising of the Shield Hero, Eminence and Shadow, Descendants of a Bookworm, Demon King Academy, Reincarnated as a Slime, Aristocrat, Spider, Sword, Final Boss, Ending Machine, Uncle, Kate Skeleton Knight, Empire Cooking,
There's a lot of isekai.
Okay.
Solo Leveling isn't an isekai.
Shut up. Yes, it is. Both of y'all, shut up. Yes, it is.
Smartphone in another world, they all just start to blend together. And
in what way does I want to be a refrigerator in another world equal Solo Leveling? You can't just say that.
Or the uncle one.
Dude, there's one about a dude that's just like, oh, I don't think, no, it is. It was just like, I became an old Joe, and it was just this old dude, and he just was transported, and now he's a rich girl. It's like, you can't just, like, because the setting, they all blend together. I'm a villainous, reincarnated sword. I can just look at him and be like, okay, if in,
Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill.
That does not sound as action heavy as the cheat skill in another world unrivaled. This is just so I legitimately hate this video. Demon King isn't isekai, he is reborn. Shut up. Yes, he is reborn isekai.
They all just start to blend together, and so many of them use the same handful of tropes. The high school loser protagonist, the Demon King, leveling up like in a...
And you see, they can name the isekais, but they can't name the things that has these tropes because they ain't watch it. So all you can say is they have these tropes, and you in your mind fills in, yes, this is ReZero. Yes, this is Sword Art Online. They're not making the argument. They're just going, all these isekai has these similar things. Shut the up. Don't make the argument if you're not familiar with it.
RPG, and this wouldn't be a problem if they weren't constantly topping the charts. If so many of them...
they're too popular, so I keep seeing them. That's your problem.
You don't watch anime. What's the problem if a genre that you like is popular or not?
80% of those things they named, I'd never heard of them. I probably consume way more of this medium than they do. I've never heard of them things.
I know the refrigerator one because I think that's
that's
funny.
ridiculous. I'm a vending machine in a different world.
How can you have a story without tropes?
Generic in their animation and world, and being the anime that constantly gets recommended to me. Look, maybe...
That's your fan base then. They're goofy.
It's recommended to you. That ain't got nothing to do with
nothing.
That's got nothing to do with the medium itself. That's got nothing to do with the story. It's somebody going, hey, read this, and you're going, wow, all I'm getting is being told to read this. Hey, Dominic, get out of here.
That's what we always say.
this is just anecdotal. Maybe there's actually
Many of
way
the
more variety.
isekai he
Gaming
mentions
and
have a
Virench
different
says,
story he's talking about.
Tropes equals bad. If everything is bad, then don't make animes. Guess what? Don't even create because it must be exist.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't. All they did was go to MyAnimeLists and looked up isekai and just went look at all these isekais that came out recently, and that's what their point is. They don't care about the story. They just go, they all blend together. They've already established that they don't really read manga or watch anime. So all you're doing is just going, what's out there? This stuff is out there. It's isekai stuff. What's out there? This stuff. All of this stuff is high school stuff. But there is other stuff, but this stuff is prevalent. Don't even bring up that there's other stuff if you're just gonna be like, all of this stuff is the problem. What about this other stuff that's not the problem? Yeah, but it's mostly the stuff that is the problem.
Why don't they check out Tensura? I think it's a better isekai. They're not checking out anything. Nothing. So I just ignore recommendations. No, read recommendations, get recommendations, but
Don't get mad at the people who are recommending you stuff.
You guys recommend us stuff all the time. I look at it, I go, that's interesting, and I throw it on the list. If you recommend me something I'm not interested in, I'm gonna go, that doesn't look interesting to me.
I was listening back to an episode, somebody was like, hey, read Akanabashi. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check that out. And I'm pissed that I didn't beforehand.
Because it just goes on the big list, and then I'll go through it. I go, all right, I'm caught up in this thing. I could probably start like 3 new manga. And I'll go through the list. I'll start this, and this.
And being the anime that constantly gets recommended to me. Look, maybe this is just anecdotal. Maybe there's actually way more variety out there that I'm not aware of.
Pause. Maybe these select 15 isekai, maybe there's more out there. Like the high school stuff that I mentioned before. Maybe that's out there. I don't know. Maybe the other 100 anime that come out per year. Maybe it's out there. I don't know. What do you mean? You're not doing research into... Again, if I was to do this, I would go... There were 200 anime that came out last year. 40 of them were isekai. 60 of them were high school. Now we have 100 things that are super tropey out the gate and 100 things that we need to pick and find to see if they're unique that don't have these things. That's what I would do to make my point. I would actually watch some of these to compare and contrast. I would go, let me look up the top 5 I'm super strong in another world thing and to see how they compare. Because they can't be the exact same. But if you're gonna make a disingenuous video, make it. Lie about it. Who cares? But just showing this does nothing.
Shonen Shoujo is a story about a boy who has never been good at anything, never had his name, hates the lack of individuality
Hayze
in Japan.
says, research is for cuts. Hayze is probably.
Hates the lack of individuality in Japan, gets a super serious disease that's going to kill you by the time you turn 12. So he is super excited about it until he learns about a girl that also has that disease who's later on in life, so she's going to die quicker, so he's just going to become another statistic. So he plots ways to kill her so he can get that thing.
Turk, what'd you miss? Right here, isekai sucks because these are all isekai and there's a lot of isekai.
Batum, a bunch of people get transported into a island and they have to survive. They get access to weaponry like grenades and such, but they just have to find a way to survive and get through the island. 5 seconds into battle, people meet up and in 5 seconds they have to fight and they all get super unique powers. It's a bunch of people from different walks of life. These are just 3 things I've read recently.
Have you guys started reading Kaiju number 8? Delicious in Dungeon is a solid fantasy comedy manga series you should check out. Skeleton Knight is not even Portal Fantasy, just regular high fantasy. My little brother watched Kaiju number 8. He really liked it. Delicious in Dungeon is on the list. And Skeleton Knight I have never heard of.
I think it was one of those isekai that were up there. I saw it reincarnated as a Skeleton Knight.
I mean, I agree, but I just don't watch it because I know I don't like it and admit about it in a video essay. Yeah. You gonna put it up?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it up.
Okay.
But from what I can tell,
I'm waiting for the next rant to bring everything up.
It's
You can do
pretty.
that right now. I can just look at chat. Why is anime not catering to my super specific niche interests? It's not just that. They all need to be set in different locations. But I'm not gonna look at the ones that are set in different locations. I'm just gonna be like, hey, why aren't they set in different locations?
Yeah,
look at all
why
these
aren't they
isekais.
watching or reading One Piece? It's got everything they want. It's got the different art style.
It's not set in school.
A fantasy story that's not set in feudal Japan.
Wait a gosh darn minute. 39 minutes. Excessive length. One Piece, it is inaccessible.
Long
we got it. We never left. Why? Pre-bunked. Why don't you read One Piece? Well, I can't. It's just so long.
But then they bring up King of the Hill, which has like 150.
I can't.
Family Guy and Simpsons had like 1,000 episodes.
I can't watch it. It's not possible for me. I'm sorry.
Oh no, not Long Man Bad. I thought we were done with those types of things.
Inaccessible. That needs to be a clip.
Oh, it's inaccessible
when we get to that point. Too many chapters, inaccessible.
It truly is just Long Man Bad.
There's nothing to watch. Man, there's so much. There's frankly too much.
Yeah.
I read like 10 chapters of manga a week because I just don't have the time, and there's so much that I want to read. So I'll just let things build and build and build. And I'm like, okay, I've
Morris says, Family Guy doesn't require you to remember anything from prior
That means
episodes.
nothing to me.
I cannot play any JRPG because I get distracted and forget everything.
Does. There are storylines. Adam West is dead in the story, and it happened. That is something that you need to remember. He is not going to show up because he is deceased. There are constant references to the chicken fight that you need to remember that they did happen. There are things that carry over. I can't really speak too much because I haven't watched it in a very, very long time.
You're good.
But Cleveland left for a long time. We know why he left. They had a story about it in Family Guy. So we can't be like, hey, where's Cleveland? We know what happened. You need to remember prior episodes for that.
Hey, you're good. With me, I catch up in a lot of things, and then like every 3 or 4 days, I'll just swipe it to update any manga that's come out recently and go, okay, Anju-san is out. I'll read that. Flower Blooms with Dignity is out. I'll read that. Oh, new chapter of Blank. I'll read that. Nobody understands Madara. What's there to understand? He's a piece of shit.
Look, maybe this is just anecdotal. Maybe there's...
Everything is anecdotal. Of course it is. This is just your viewpoint of what's going on.
Especially when not a minute ago you go, I get recommended these things a lot. It's like, yeah, so that is 100% anecdotal.
It's actually way more variety out there that I'm not aware of.
There 100% is. Do you think that these 15 anime are all that came out? Surely you can't believe that because you listed a whole bunch of high school stuff. So there is things out there. You need to find it. Go to MyAnimeLists and go to something that you like. Full Metal Alchemist, you said you like that. Go to the recommended, to what people recommend based on that. Go to Death Note and see what people recommend based on that. See if you would dig it.
Let's see real quick with Death Note.
They are out there. You aren't looking because you're too busy whining about the commonalities of things that are going on, like the location and the animation style.
The art style and such. Monster is the second one recommended.
I'm a motherfucking monster.
It's set in Germany for the most part. It's different art styles.
Is this one with the recommended for Death Note?
Yep.
Okay.
Recommended for Death Note. Code Geass, Monster, Zanku no Tensei.
I've seen an anime that is like only 3 minutes long for every episode, and it's about a high school people marrying creatures. There are so much anime out there.
Almost infinite anime. You cannot watch all the anime that is out there. And SpongeBob, Sandy gets introduced in the first episode, and Plankton gets introduced a few episodes later.
What about Hellsing? Takes place in Britain or Germany, I think. It doesn't count because it's not this. It's not an isekai this.
I'm reading stories that are longer than One Piece. I don't care about the length. I just enjoy through the story. Yeah, that's I say a lot that if something is super long, good, because that's just more for me to sit there and enjoy.
And if it's not good, then I drop it.
I'm not gonna read Your Zoro Family. Shut up. Because I don't dig it. There's a lot of it. I'm just like, I'm not going to read all this bullshit because I don't like it.
I will if it pops off. That's just another series we could talk about.
Apparently, I caught spoilers and I was just like, oh, that sounds dumb.
Again, it needs to pop off. Kogiya's Rose of the Recapture is a terrible anime. It's not because it takes place in Japan.
Yo, I've seen nothing but gooning on that. I've seen nothing but heaving bosom.
Hellsing takes place in Britain, and they go to Ireland and Brazil. Have you thought of doing a video series explaining how you would fix and rewrite? Oh yeah, I have a series named Fanfix. I just have not gotten it off the ground. But yeah, I've thought about that.
We are struggling to find time for revisiting nowadays.
Dude, we skipped 2 weeks. Like, it's real hard. It's real hard.
What were the spoilers?
Yeah, I don't care. But you're asking me if I care about Yosuboyo family?
Spoilers for Yokozuna Family. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There is a hard. It is just normal, hard 5-year time skip. They got 2 kids. And then the focus shifts to those 2 kids. And from what I'm hearing, it is just light teasing of romance, and then it's just like, bam, kids. I was just like, oh, this sounds real bad.
Burn the Witch takes place in Britain.
Oh, this sounds real bad. That's not what I want at all. Light, tepid romance. It is like, oh, they got tough in.
And then the kids are the fucking
hard 5-year time skip.
Oh,
I went,
no.
Oh, Lord.
Take it away.
It's pretty excessive. This is a problem.
Yes, it's absolutely excessive, but the amount that comes out is excessive. You're not taking into account, again, if 1,000 things come out in A and 100 things come out in B, then you're going to find a lot more commonalities in A because there's so much more material to parse through. You have to understand this. Like, Pixar releases a movie once every 2.5, 3 years. An anime studio might be releasing an anime a week for 20 years. The funny part is before they do the time skip, there's a whole chapter where they act like parents of this kid they save, and it's pretty sweet, and as soon as the kid comes in, she gets kicked to the curb.
Oh my goodness.
Again, since you can only tell certain stories in certain settings. Lord of the Rings works as a medieval European story since fundamentally it's about good triumphing over evil and the power of teamwork with a little Christianity thrown in.
What's that got to do with medieval Europe? That could have taken place in like Egypt.
A very standard European story, but if you tried to move, say, the Boiling Isles in the Owl House to a more medieval European setting, the story just wouldn't work. It would lose a lot of the terrifying alien strangeness that's so thematically important to it.
No, because you could have it in a big castle and do the same thing. A creepy, derelict medieval castle in ancient Europe. This absolutely could happen. Yes, if you take a story out of its setting, it's going to fundamentally change things. That's just how it goes. So yeah, all those things in high school, do they need to be? No. But if you take them out of high school, it's going to fundamentally change the story. We're brushing over the thematic thing. Yo, Asabe, however you say it, is my jam.
It is so funny.
Luz's story is about how she can't fall into a perfect generic fantasy book. She needs to face
I am so sick of just brainlessly in monotone reading of the premise of these American shows, just going, oh, but then high school.
Reality, and that it's harsh, and that the world is cruel. So the scary, exotic eldritch horrors of the Boiling Isles are what the show needed.
But the world is cruel in Jigoku Shoujo. They pull the string and then they're taken to an orange sky place with trees and flowers and all over the place, and they just go, what the is going on? And the music just and then they get
psychologically tortured for like 5-10 minutes, and then it's like, all right, your soul's in hell.
And it's so many just close-ups of their face as they're contemplating pulling the string and sending their tormentor to heck, and there's so much of that. And it's episodic of just, this person is doing me wrong. I'm calling MI. Do I pull the string?
Cameron
They do
Bailey
a big
says,
thing and then
Death
they
Note
pull
shows
it.
a better of the world being cruel.
Yeah, and it's over and over again. That's the saying. It's just like, if you aren't gonna be a piece of right now, I will not pull this string. But you're gonna be a piece of shit. And then there's whole other stories where it's just like, you're a good person and you just ran afoul of a piece of
Could you not teabag my grandmother's grave today?
Sure,
Just
no problem.
today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Save
2
it
hours
for
later,
tomorrow.
nuts on face. Well, I guess it's string time.
Dang.
String theory, bitch.
You don't force my hand.
Desperate, so good.
I just looked at that Yozakura family chapter that the time skip came out of nowhere like an RKO. Yeah, that's what I was hearing. Cause I'll get interested in things that I'm not interested in. Just like,
Yes,
what's going
absolutely.
on? And I saw that, I went,
nothing's going on.
I could not imagine reading that. That would be my all right because reasons time.
A poor example using the Owl House, Hayze. It's objectively a terrible animated show that is a poor man's Little Witch Academia and Harry Potter.
Both of those takes place in schools, so we can't.
Amphibia and the Owl House are 2 Disney cartoons that came out at the same time and had a similar premise with a girl going to a different world, but are completely different stories.
Yeah, but they're unique.
Also, currently, the dumbass kids aren't the focus. And Yokozora.
Okay, they're not.
Hayze Aldonix says, Made in Abyss has the same ancient horror as the House of Owls, and I say it does it better.
There you go.
For that, the Owl House is...
House of Owls.
I guess I gotta watch Owl House.
There's a lot of them in it. What happened? I didn't know about this at all until today.
Story about a weird, young, neurodivergent girl having to learn to make friends and come to terms with the fact that she'll never be normal, and how that's fine so long as she can still function as a person. And so, the creator Dana Terrace made the wise decision to set her Disney Isekai cartoon in a world that's only sort of based on medieval Europe, but with tons of wholly unique elements to set it apart.
So you can do it in medieval Europe and just put a twist on it, which you both praised and derided in this video. Dude.
This is one of the worst videos.
Are we even gonna make it to 29?
We're doing well. We're doing quite well.
Dude, it's pissing me off.
I understand.
Neurodivergent, who cares? I don't recommend watching Owl House. Oh no.
Is it really
Hey,
the
Vanty.
big stink?
Realizes during her time at the Boiling Isles that, while she does need to learn some social skills and take things more
Because
seriously...
we get so much of this just dryly reading things, just going, this is good, and like your generic anime, you're not reading what's going on in the isekai stuff to make somebody want to watch this. All you're going is, this is isekai. You're going, this has this character, and this character's motivation is this, and this is an isekai, so don't watch it. Do you think that's fair? You're not giving the positive nor minuses of anything about the isekai. You haven't watched it. The fact that it exists is the issue. This is good because of all of these reasons. This is bad because it's an isekai.
Hey, don't worry, Dominic. Your boy is
Cameron
eating right
Bailey
after
says,
this.
1 and 2 are good, but 3 suffers from Disney canceling it.
Rush to the finish line.
That sucks. I'm dead ass starting to believe this person is just racist against Japanese people who hates anime at this point. I think they like anime, but they just want wholly unique, like 95% of it should be unique to them before they go, oh, okay, yeah. BGDA, watch Amphibia. The Owl House was good for the first 2 seasons with 20 episodes each, but then got 3 episodes with 48-minute episodes. Oh, no. Yeah, Bricky is looking better and better by the week because he just goes, I hate this and y'all making me do it.
And I actually didn't watch it because I actually didn't watch it.
And it's boring and I don't like it. And I'm cool with that at this point. Like, you are not a fan. You were not engaged. You did your obligation. You pieced out. Not this, hey, let's make it better by being different.
Hey, look at this American thing. The King of the Hill takes place in Texas. Huh?
That's my point.
That Odd is totally fine, and she isn't a failure for being different.
This video is literally just bad tropes. This video is just tropes bad despite being actually inescapable. Yeah, the tropes just happen. It's fine. And who cares?
Nah, Bricky said he likes Warhammer 40K and got that has nothing to do with us.
Nothing to do with us. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe he has some good points. I don't know. It's fine.
Trying to stamp out the strangeness is an actively evil thing to do. And the same thing applies to Moana. It wouldn't work.
Moana is okay.
It is very okay.
In a different setting. It needs tiny islands spread out.
Isekai anime wouldn't work outside of an isekai. You just fundamentally do not want them to exist at that point.
Over a large area, and so Polynesia is pretty much the only place it could be. These are not stories you could tell.
Owl House has continuity errors in the plot and world building, but that's not the problem. It's different, so it's good. Mm-hmm. It's better that it's different. Moana is okay.
Is there a big step up between okay and pretty good? Is that a big enough jump to make us think about?
I think okay is 5.6, and I think pretty good is 6.5. I think 5.5 and 6.5. So I guess a point different.
In medieval Britain or Japan.
Moana is okay, Nami the goat. It is okay.
Shiny is amazing. It's got some good songs. We Know the Way is very good. The first song I don't remember at all.
7.5 is too high. 7 is too high. 10 is too high.
I don't know Where I'll Go. That's also a good song. It's got some good songs, and the reprise is also good.
5.5.
Where I'll Go.
Maybe
it's got
6.
some good rock covers of Where I'll Go.
It
as well.
is okay.
Shiny is that's the peak one though.
Moana is an 8. That is too high. It is a 5.5, maybe a 6 on a good day. It is okay.
Unless it's Moana and Okinawa, and therefore they're not ones you'll ever find in any fantasy anime. And on the flip side, you couldn't tell the tale of the Princess Kaguya outside of Japan. It's too tied to the way feudal Japan worked, its hierarchies, its religion, and all of its customs. If you tried to move it to Spain or the United States, it just wouldn't work. But because anime...
Okay, so, Loud House, not Loud. Yeah, Loud House. Does that need to be set in the state that it's in? Mm-hmm. Gravity Falls, does it need to be set in the state that it's in? Steven Universe, does it need to be set in the state that it's in? I think it's called Beach City, but if they just go, this is Bikini Bottom City, who cares? And just name it something else and just place it someplace different, does it need to be set there? What about those shows need to be set there? Gumball, wherever it's set, does it need to be set there?
Spain or the United States, it just wouldn't work. But because anime are so tied to a...
The story that was made for this specific region would be different if taken out of that region by a
It's
retard.
so crazy. BG doesn't like Cats. Don't listen to him. The Cats is not
Cats
good.
2019 or Cats the Animal. Or Cats the Broadway play. Different things.
Few locations, because they're almost all only set in a few fantasy worlds, it makes the types of stories they can tell much more narrow. To be
what is the difference in the story that is being told in the vending machine anime versus that cooking one? What is the difference there? What is the limitations of the isekai that those two anime are facing? Oh, you haven't watched them and you're talking completely out of your cheeks? Oh, then say no more, fam.
You're talking out of your cheek and you don't know what you're talking about. Say no more.
Clear, I'm not saying that any anime set in a medieval or Renaissance European world is automatically bad. In fact, 2 of my favorite anime of all time are set there, and there are plenty of shows that are set there that do something unique. Attack on Titan.
Okay, they do something unique. That's the twist of slice of life in high school settings. So it's forgivable if they give a twist, but no, it's not forgivable because it's still high school, but somehow these are forgiven despite the twist, even though they're still in feudal Japan or medieval settings.
This is the structure of this. Introduction of bad points. Explanation of bad points. Explanation of things in America that do not do this thing. Generalization of anime here, but not all things. Names other things, goes back to the point originally.
Is in some ways a pretty standard fantasy, but the Titans are such a unique element and all of the story revolves around them, so it has its own vibe.
What's unique about them?
Okay, we can clap for Aharen-san in a super unique, she has a perspective problem. Because even though it's very standardized school setting, this unique aspect of it makes it a clap. Because that's what you're saying with Attack on Titan by going,
Sebastian
even though
says,
it's standard.
I'm stereotyping this person. This person is the type of person that does the Asian eyes every time they see an Asian person because I refuse to believe they are not racist.
I knew somebody that like that. It's just like, I say these words, but I don't mean anything. Like, bro, no.
But just saying that the Titans are unique, that's all that they've got is just, this is this thing. It's unique. This isn't this thing. This isn't unique.
Regardless, but most anime are not Attack on Titan, and the way so...
What are you doing with this ReZeros?
Woo!
Why would you
they
think...
about to make a name for themselves.
Why would you...
Go back up. That is a... Go up. That is a 4-year-old comment. And this mug is going, actually, no thank you. Not, what is up with these ReZero monsters?
Out of nowhere from downtown.
Many of them stick so closely with a few tropes can cause some problems. For example, one of the hot topic anime right now is Dungeon Meshi, aka Delicious in Dungeon, which is about a group of adventurers making their way through a D&D style dungeon and eating everything they come across. It sounds like a really fun premise, finding ways to cook up and eat all sorts of weird monsters, and maybe it genuinely is a great show. But I've had a hard time getting up the motivation to watch it, because to be honest, I already get enough European fantasy as it is. I know
this show appeals to me, but because of setting and aesthetics, no. Do you understand what you just said? Why watch a movie? Why watch a TV show? Why watch any cop drama? Why would I watch Monk over Psych or Psych over The Mentalist? All different detectives with their own
Nami
unique
the Goat
quirks.
says, Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer were a notorious couple of cats as knockabout clowns, quick change comedians, tightrope walkers, and acrobats.
They have a home in Victoria Grove. This is really their center of operation. No, don't! I fought for you. I'll weep for you, Nami the Goat.
Boy, that's crazy that just happened, huh? Can't tell.
You're a monster.
Can't tell you why that happened.
people think the world building is great, but to me, it doesn't matter how creative you get with your haunted armor.
Yes, holy crap!
Yes, Triton. Go ahead, sorry.
It don't matter how they say it's unique, but it don't matter how much unique it is, because it's still an isekai. You are giving it no chances.
Yes, oversaturation is a thing, but it depends on how oversaturated it is for you, and you can just ignore those things. Like, if I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna listen to a rap song because this rap song is oversaturated. Because there's a lot of rap music out there. That's ridiculous. Give me a new album, Chance the Rapper, because you've been releasing some bangers recently, and I need a new project from you.
World building is great, but to me, it doesn't matter how creative you get with your haunted armor or your mimic or your dragons. You're still using all of the same elements I've seen a million times, just with a minor twist.
Hey,
unbelievable.
I've seen a lot of media. And I've seen a lot of body horror. Still love Upgrade. I've seen a lot of Kung Fu-like thing. Still love Upgrade. I've seen a lot of these thrillers, these revenge stories. Still love Upgrade. I do not care. It do not matter. Why would you go, yeah, it's a comedy, but I've seen a lot of comedies, so why would I watch this comedy with a slight twist?
Gaming in Virench says, he contradicted himself, guys. He didn't remember. He gave a pass with previous stuff.
Yeah, he just said Attack on Titan has a little twist, and that makes it refresh and makes it good.
People are recommending this. They say it's good, but Muffin, I don't care because it's just the same stuff that I've seen.
That's crazy that happened to Corey. I don't know why.
I just cannot believe this is just a stubborn baby.
Not looking outside of the most popular thing.
Because, does it have a mimic? Oh, of course it has a mimic. I can't watch it.
Is it an Isekai? Oh.
It's just so annoying.
I don't care how many shooters there are out there. If they came out with, what was that game I loved? Oh, they just re-released it recently. Oh no, I loved it. But if they came out with a sequel to it, I'd be like, yes, sir, please, thank you. I don't care how many turn-based JRPGs.
Turn-based JRPG. I'm just like, yep, gimme.
That's what I want.
Out the gate, just like, yep, that is what I want.
And if a person wants an Isekai, they're gonna go, yeah, an Isekai.
Eren becoming a Titan is a twist. Muff didn't mention the twist. All they said it was unique.
Have you ever seen a graphic novel, comic, manga, or manga where the art is amazing and the story is fresh? My Hero Academia. Fantastic art at times. Fantastic. Terrible story.
High School, God of High School. That manhwa is very, very good. I can't with that. Shut up, Leo. You trying to get it too?
God, why is there so many people being timed right now? It's so crazy. I do not know what's happening in our chat.
It's just a bug, just like that in YouTube chat. They need to get it fixed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what happened. Sea of Stars was fine. It was fine.
The twist does break things up a bit, but frankly, I'd rather see a bunch of new creatures than the same old ones used over and over again.
I don't care if you use a dragon. If the story dictates it, Ruri Dragon is fantastic. I don't care if they're gonna meet her dad and he's some big dragon. I don't give a
What is something that you haven't seen over and over and over again? Oh, it's gonna be a giant octopus. Oh, we've seen that. They've got to make new things fully, and then you just go, okay, thank you for making the new thing that is functionally the same as a mimic. Now I can enjoy this.
Hey, it's an octopus, but I gave it the head of a lion. Thank you for being different. Now I can enjoy your story.
This is just unique. It needs to be unique.
We are 3.5 minutes.
Thank you, Dutch.
I don't want to see a dragon for the millionth time.
Shut the up!
Triton A. Morris says, this is where I disagree with this dude. I don't think they should need to make new things. I think you should be content with the old things you have.
But it's the oversaturation. I've seen a bunch of dragons. Why would I want?
That is an argument that they're making.
I've seen dragons. Why would I want another dragon?
I've been told this show is amazing, but it has a dragon, so no thanks. I've never in my life heard some like that.
I've never felt no like that.
Holy crap! This is such a insulated little bubble baby. Needs to be unique. Like you said, if that lion now, if that dragon has the head of a lion now, is that cool? And it's functionally the same as a dragon. It breathes fire, it flies around, but it just has the head of a lion. Is that cool now? Is that all it takes? That separates something that I am not gonna watch it. 2, now I can finally watch this because it's not just another mimic or dragon. My goodness. Doesn't matter how much the dragon is in here. Doesn't matter how the dragon is incorporated. The fact that it is in here is the problem. Oh my goodness.
That doesn't even look like a dragon I've seen before.
All the single furries. All the single furries.
Thank you for the super chat. Oh, I've had sex once. Why would I want to have more? It's just sex I've had 1,000,000 times before.
This dude sucks.
The T-Rex 525 says, that burger joint has a cheeseburger? I'm out.
Another place that put cheese on a burger? I've had this 1,000,000 times before. Why would I want it again?
In Freerun, one of the main characters fight a literal dragon. Oh no.
Oh, a dragon.
No.
No, we're done for the day once this is over. We're already almost 3 hours deep.
Even if you did add some sort of clever twist to it, all I want is something new. Where
So literally, a lion head dragon will get this month's rocks off. That's all they want. That's all it takes? Really? That's the difference between 0 out of 10 and I'll check that out.
Why would you care about Spy Family being a spy thriller when you've seen spy thrillers before?
I've never.
You've seen that gun used before. You've seen a grenade be used before.
This is unbelievable bars.
Dungeon Meshi, human, elf, dwarf, halfling, dragon, Freyrin, human, elf, dwarf, dragons.
This is bonkers. Looking for something, then look for something new. There's so much stuff out there. Just rewatch your old shows. Just rewatch Death Note, whatever.
This is crazy.
What'd you miss? Freerun is bad because it has a dragon, but if it had a little bit of a twist, it'd be cool and they would read it.
at least something less common. And it really doesn't help that the main characters are a human knight, a dwarf warrior, a halfling thief, and an elf mage, which has to be the single most generic group of fantasy protagonists I could possibly imagine.
Okay, but what do they do?
Yes.
How are they as characters?
Yes.
How are they as people? How do they interact with each other?
What?
How do they interact with the world? Is the elf warrior scared of little bugs? And the elf, the mage girl laughs at him about it because she loves little bugs. I don't know, and neither do you.
How did Phil go 51
Unknown
minutes
Gaming
on
XL
LTG?
says, Freerin has a human warrior and an elf mage, nigga.
How?
Y'all, field days tomorrow. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about.
Even if they all have original personalities, that doesn't change the fact that they're all going to be dressed like and fighting like every other.
Holy crap! The fact that they are these things, no matter what their personality is, this is an elf. And therefore, I think lesser of you because I've seen an elf. I cannot stand this
No, this is crazy, actually.
This is absolutely unhinged behavior.
I don't care who you are as a character or a person in this world. I only care that you're an elf. And I've seen an elf. So no elf. Remember when I said, are we going to hit that 29? We got 3 minutes left.
Man, people are saying that's like Freerin. I don't care if I'm mispronouncing it.
knight, mage, thief, and warrior in all of medieval European fantasy. Ultimately, it's a personal preference thing. Some people are fine with it, but it gets to me, and I know it gets to a lot of other people, so I figure it's worth bringing up. And as for Frieren, I'm only watching it because it's literally the highest rated anime of all time.
So why you're just trend surfing?
Literal trend surfing. Oh, let me look at the most popular things. Oh, this is the most popular thing. I'll watch or read
Chris
it.
the Chilled says, this man would really hate Dungeon and Dragons.
Frieren.
Press play because I want to know if they're required to watch or read it because it's the most popular.
I'm only watching it because it's literally the highest rated anime of all time. But if I want to go to a story with an interesting, wondrous...
Why are you watching it? I have not watched the most popular thing.
I only started reading that because Ralph really recommended it. So I went, okay, I'll start reading it.
You are not required to watch the most popular thing.
Wait, is that why he watched Full Metal Alchemist? Speaking so confidently when he hasn't even watched it. What a hype beast. And probably the same for Full Metal. Trend surfing isn't bad on its own. No, absolutely not. But you're going, I'm only watching this because it is the most popular.
And then moving right on.
But if I want a story with the unique what now?
Rated anime of all time. But if I want to go to a story with an interesting, wondrous, and unique world, I'm not going to go to Frieren. I'm gonna boot up Gravity Falls or Arcane. Sci-fi anime is a bit better about this, admittedly, but I'm less familiar with it, and there's a lot less of it.
I'm less familiar with it, but I'm not gonna seek it out.
I'd rather just complain.
Yes! There's so few of them that I can't find them. Sci-fi anime, and you will find a list.
Sci-fi anime. Ghost in the Shell, Steins Gate, Psychopath, Cowboy Bebop, Vivi, Ergo Proxy, Gamera Rebirth, Battleship Yamato, The Orbital Children, Gurren Lagann, Space Dandy, Scavenger's Reign.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has a group of humans unoriginal.
It took me 40 seconds to search sci-fi anime.
They are out there.
And there were some from the 70s, and there's some from 2022. Just complain. Don't try to look for the things that could be great. Because you know why you're not looking for the things that could be great? Because enough people aren't watching that thing to recommend it, to put it at the top of the list.
We know factually that they go on MyAnimeLists. MyAnimeLists has a section for sci-fi anime that you can just click on and find countless.
Can you scroll all the way down, please?
It just says more. I don't know how many there
Okay, I wanted to see how many pages there were.
Yeah, it don't work like that for this at least.
There's several pages worth. Let's just say that.
Especially today. Cowboy Bebop is great. It's about a bounty hunter named Spike Spiegel having adventures in this weird spaceship mafia world. It's incredibly stylized and different, and that's one factor that makes the series so engaging to watch.
Stylized and different. No examples given.
What in the anime itself is stylized and different? Because the intro, sure. But what in the anime itself is different from Trigun?
No examples given. File not found.
That's not why I like Cowboy Bebop. No, I like it for the characters and the story that goes on and their interactions with things. One of my favorite episodes is the one where the dude saddled his dead on Mai and she find out he's still alive. Love that episode.
Gundam, Cowboy Bebop, Urusei, Yatsuru. Right, Yatsuru, that's the second time that's been recommended today. Trigun, all sci-fi anime, and they're all amazing. No, there are too few out there, and I can't be bothered to look for them. Do they mention more than two, and are they all just the main super popular ones?
They're going to mention this, maybe Space Dandy, maybe Trigun.
I was going to say those three things.
And that's one factor that makes the series so engaging to watch. But even then, it's the exception, not the rule. A solid half of sci-fi anime fall into the mecha genre, for example, and the number of stories you can tell with that is extremely limited. Having unique settings
First off, one example given, very good, not even really. They've established that there are a limited number of stories that you could tell from mecha stuff. I don't like mecha. I would never say that.
No.
Because I'm not familiar with the genre. That just sounds very stupid, like saying there's only so many things that you can do with superheroes. Now, there's quite a lot of things. Even Marvel's just like, okay, this is straight up superhero, this is a heist, this is a found family coming together type
Even
of thing.
Even people with ice powers can be vastly different.
The Crimson Glow Valstrax says, here's a solution to your problem. This guy, I don't want a solution. I just want to be angry.
But they just go, yeah, there's mecha, but it's limited. Doesn't explain how it's limited. Just moves the actual on.
What's the difference in limitation between sword fighters and mech? Because they both use a certain device in which to engage in battle with. But I can very much tell you that sword, I've never seen these, but I guarantee you, Rurouni Kenshin and Demon Slayer are vastly different in terms of swords play. Samurai Champloo and Demon Slayer are vastly different. You can't just go mech is limited.
Dude, you limit yourself.
Helps to make the shows look different too, as different settings were.
Yeah, but everything is limited in the storytelling. If you have 1,000 things that use swords, you're gonna have 400 that are gonna be pretty samey.
You could tell a variety of stories within the mecha genre. No, you can't. Didn't you hit his mouth?
Yeah, because you can have the giant mechs, you can have the bodysuit mechs. There's a lot of things you could do with mecha.
Require different animation styles. These two problems tie together and make many anime feel quite generic. Even if
you don't watch anime. You simply don't.
Yeah.
So you can't say that.
I haven't seen them mention one non-super well-known manga or anime to go, hey, more things like this thing. Like Boy Girl I mentioned earlier.
Fluffy just with a bunch of fake shows
that just don't exist.
Exact same.
Yeah, absolutely same.
And the world are unoriginal, a show or movie can still be good, but there are already so many high school and fantasy anime out there using.
I don't care if it's good. Goodness. Why would I care that it's another one of these things?
And we're gonna have to trudge through Long Man
and Woman.
Oh, Woman!
The same elements that unless your characters and plot are unbelievably fantastic and original, it's just not gonna stand out. It happens again.
It does stand out because what's the most popular? Isekais! And you said they're basically the same! So why is one isekai standing above the 30 that's coming out? Why is Freyren standing out with all these other medieval shows?
HOPE says, G Gundam, Gundam 8th Ms. Gundam Witch from Mercury, Gundam Wing are all very different from each other.
No, I don't think so.
So you just want different aesthetics. That's very superficial.
No,
I don't know what they want.
And Freyren exists, but it's not exactly common. And I get it.
What's uncommon about it? Because you just said it was the same medieval setting. Halflings, dragons, all this. Or has the anime not gotten there yet? So you don't know.
Fantasy is exotic to Japan the same way the Japanese stuff is to us in North America. It's not from their culture, they didn't grow up with it, so it feels different. Except you don't see North America making a million shows about Japan and only Japan. There are a handful, but not that many. But there are so many Japanese anime about Europe that I question how it could even be considered exotic anymore. In fact, it's practically eclipsed the number of fantasy anime set in Japan. Having a generic setting or style is not the be-all and all for a piece of media. There are plenty of books, shows, and movies that have settings and art styles that have been done a million times before.
Did you not hear me explain the template for this video? Issue, bad explanation, American example, circle back to the other things that do this, but it's not this thing, back to the problem.
incredible regardless. But some amount of variety would be nice, you know? A bunch of different settings really helps to break things up, to make the shows feel different, and lets you tell a wider variety of stories.
You know what makes the shows feel different? The characters, the stories, the things within the show. Comey does not feel like Aharen-san, period. They're both high school setting. They're both kids going through a potential romance. Does not feel the same.
You talk about the settings, but then your issue with the dungeon thing is just that there are dragons. It's not the settings, it's the thing that's in it in that case. But Europe itself is an issue in some
Unknown Gaming, no, not like One Piece, because the next point coming up, Long Man Bad.
It's something that
nice, cool air in here, and the setup still looks good. That's good to know, because I didn't know that, but now we're testing it.
Okay, I thought he was going. Is he going to go get food?
Got taken out. You know, we're doing it with the air. Yeah, it looks good. Looks fine, right? Like you see a little bit more.
Yeah, because I want to know what his super special food feasting with the king bullshit.
Adrian Rusco says, the themes and how they are presented make stories unique as well.
Yeah, but setting. Medieval.
It's time for what, Double M?
It's time go. Honestly, what are we doing tomorrow with Phil?
Earlier, I said, yeah. So it's gonna arrive between 3:34, and then we're gonna eat around between 4:30. I'll go down and get it.
So in like 50 minutes, he'll be eating. We're gonna be gone. Yeah, we're gonna be long gone.
Unfortunate.
every author, particularly fantasy authors, should be interested in. But the thing is, originality often doesn't sell. People like to get more of what they're familiar with.
Show something. Show a something that takes place in Africa and showing it get in Samurai 8 numbers. Show that and not just say it happens. You have no evidence that it doesn't sell.
And try something new, even if it might be better. And oftentimes, folks will keep writing what makes them money, regardless of how good it is anymore, and publishing.
You can't even tell me if this is good or bad, because you're not engaging with it, because it's got a dragon in it. So can't you, oh, they're just writing for money, no longer good. You can't tell me that.
Companies will actively encourage them to do so. The reason we're getting so many generic fantasy anime is that so many of the manga and light novels that sell follow these same topics too. And this is where we get into the third problem with anime.
No.
It's legitimately.
Yeah, we're coming up on the end.
No,
anyway.
that is the end.
Okay, yep, there we go.
This is the end, friend.
No, Andy, we're friends to the end. Remember? This is the end, friend.
Talker, I'll throw you in the fire. You stupid bitch.
You filthy slut.
Gaming in Virench says, goalpost time.
There's people that don't enjoy Chucky, and I will never be friends with those people.
This is infuriating.
Yes.
This is bricky beyond.
Yeah. This is to go even further beyond.
If Bricky was Super Saiyan, this is blue. They done shot past in Super Saiyan 2, 3.
They've just been...
Questionably Canon 4.
They've just been sharding over the screen.
It's crazy. Dumb cat-faced dragon, like, finally, uniqueness. Oh, man.
We're I don't know.
I'm so afraid of the women. Point, the part with the women. The part about the women. I just sort of shut down for a second. I was just like, yep, that's my point made. It's time for BG to say something. I legit just shut down. What happened? I'm glad I wasn't driving. I'd be dead.
I'm so afraid of women.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is truly where we're at as a society. I'm so afraid of the women.
What's wrong with VG? Why isn't he saying something? This has been a couple seconds that happened. Oh man, yeah, this is horrible.
Catface Dragon, more of those. We're good. Do it, people.
Oh man,
they are eating
Meme
the
Spice
dogs.
says they are eating the dogs.
They're eating the cat.
The dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets
in Springfield. Oh yeah. I think we come back to this next week, and then it's a bit of a hiatus unless we finish it for at least a couple weeks.
We can't finish it.
You don't know that. If we
how
can
much is left? Almost an hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Unless we just head down, bum rush that mug.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
30 minutes for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, never mind.
Yeah. If it was sped up, if we could speed it up a little bit, maybe. But
plus, that was a dumb animation point. We're getting into long man bad.
Oh yeah.
We're getting into
adaptations
women.
Might be a fairly short one for us. Because it's gonna be like, you're adapting it and blah 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 blah.
Line work, general proportions, animation method, they're all about That's where we get to see the character's thought process, and that was always the best part of the show. And that makes the final resolution of the show not hit as hard.
No, that's a bad adaptation. It's just a bad adaptation. Happens.
Yeah. All right. Yep. See y'all next time. Have a good rest of your Saturday. We're going to do some Phil tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Phil.
It's going to be some recent stuff because there's been some recent stuff.
Man, oh man. Proper Revisited started up again. This last week was my fault. I had art stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Pure goblin mode, but it's done.
It's so funny. I was like, hey, we should be getting back to regular Revisiteds more frequently because I work from home now on Wednesdays. And it just hasn't worked out, just like the field thing. We had a whole plan with the field thing. We've done it once. It's not the best quote of 2024. All right, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Oh yeah. Dominic, even though we get super heated with this is fun for us. And once we leave this, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna eat, we're gonna drink, we're not gonna give a
Revisited is almost literally the only time I get angry.
Yeah, it's cathartic in a way.
It's more frustration at really bad points.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna think about this person like an hour from now. I'm gonna play Star Wars. I'm gonna play some more Star Wars. All right, yep. Final time me saying have a good rest of your Saturday, everyone. Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow for the film stuff.
Stop coming to these in particular.
Oh, this. Don't come back next time.